days of the early suns. Through walls of lost belief, laid waste and buried deep. Summer to be set to fall. But there's no fear that lives inside this soul. Yeah, inside this world, there is no way back to forgive us. Oh, I'm done. Deliver, the simple and the same as all the innocence. That lives below breathes the flames from the dying suns, and lives to wake the dying ones. The dying inside this world, there is no way back to forgive us. I'm done. The simple and the same as all the innocence.
Alrighty, hello, all of you wonderful people. It is your boy Rylion here, and today I have two very amazing special guests. It's a special TriCast for the beginning playoffs of the Scuttle division. I have here Chaos and Pancake, my boys. How are you doing today?
I've been doing really well, Rylan. I am so looking forward to the first game of the playoffs for the Scuttle division. Super hyped for tonight's match. Pancake, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic. It's the first match of playoffs. There's nothing better. These games matter. You can't argue that. Everything that happened up until now, it matters, but in the same moment, it doesn't because, win, you move on. Lose, you're in loser bracket right away.
That's actually like a beautiful way to put it. Everything that happened in the regular season really doesn't matter. You know, we're in the playoffs now, and this is really where it starts to shine. Seed number 8 to seed number 1. I mean, it is a double elimination, so, you know, anybody can make it to the finals here technically from this point, but it is a slippery slope, and nobody wants to fall to the lower division. But this is the first matchup here. We have C22 Shadow Isles versus Scylla, ranked number 4 and 5, going against each other tonight. I mean, break it down for me, guys. How are you feeling about this matchup that these people are going to be witnessing here?
Yeah, I think one thing I already want to call out is that in playoff brackets, you're going to have seed 4 versus seed 5, then you're going to have seed 3 versus seed 6. And these guys have already played each other before, and it was 2-1. So we already know that just given their placements, given the previous series, that we should have a pretty banger match. It should be pretty even. I'm not sure how the games actually went, but I'm sure that they were very competitive back and forth. So I'm hoping for a 3-game set here. I'm hoping for some fantastic League of Legends gameplay. I don't know, Pancake, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, this should be a great series. Like you said, last series went to 3 games. Game 1 was actually won by Shadow Owl in that series by a great performance by their AD carry, who unfortunately will not be playing today. And then game 2 and 3 was brought back, and Scylla ended up winning 2-1. Both games were, I don't know if it was a full carry, but Surf and Turf in the top lane played outstanding. I know one of those games was on the Mbessa, and then the other one was on the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser 12-0-5, Mbessa 9-1-10. So we'll see Surf and Turf if he can match those performances here today, and maybe not have to wait for the first game to get behind the 8 ball. You want to start quick in these series, right? Especially when the pressure is elevated. You know these games matter. They're going to want to get off to a hot start.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I was just gonna say that I'm trying to pull up the other drafts to see what they prioritize, because I don't think the last round match was maybe like a week or 2 ago. I don't think the patch or meta has changed, so I'd be interested to see if the drafts look exactly the same, if they're gonna change it up. Maybe, as you said, they will prioritize that Mordekaiser, will prioritize that Mbessa. Yeah, we'll just see, like, I guess, like, who becomes the star of tonight's show. But yeah, that's kind of interesting, that their AD carry is not there, right? That's going to change some of the drafting. It's going to change some of the bans. That's going to change some of their strategy. I don't know, Rylan, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, no, losing 4 ban, that's critical. That and the big times and the big plays, just like this beginning of the playoffs, the last thing you need to be going into this is at a huge disadvantage. And losing 4, I mean, that you might as well lose 5. You know what I mean? 1, I don't think is going to be make or break a singular draft here, unfortunately. So it does get a little bit better, at least in game 2, where they get 2 bans, which I guess is double 1, and that's, you know, a good thing. Don't get me wrong, but still, an E sub at this critical moment. I understand things happen. It's just really unfortunate timing for that to occur. So Scylla, you better be coming out swinging strong. You have all your priority targets that you could pick, your comfort picks in game 1. There really shouldn't be that big of an excuse for Scylla. You know, but anything can happen though. You know, even though you're on your comfort picks, even though you're on your comfortable champions, still every game is very unique to their own. So if C22 can actually win this one, you know, with the big disadvantage, that just shows you how competitive and how ready they are for this playoff season.
Yeah, and Scylla, the benefit of, you know, of them not having of Shadow Island not having the bans is they should be able to prep a little more, right? You don't have to worry about, you know, setting up a team comp and all of a sudden the main, you know, hey, we're gonna play a Nocturne dive comp, and all of a sudden Nocturne gets banned out. Right, you don't have that worry as much anymore, so you can set up your team comps, especially in game 1, a lot better, right? And so this, you should see, okay, hey, how much effort did they put into this? I would much rather see them today, hey, let's build our comp the way we want to play it, instead of more reactionary, where they're just gonna, hey, let's, you know, see what they pick and just try to counter as much as we can. I'd like to see a very organized comp that has a clear way of playing the game, whether it's a dive, whether it's front to back, something that's going to be easily executable.
Yeah, actually, going to that point, I mean, we're already in draft here. It's, I think, maybe some quick things to talk about. So as we talked about, Shadow Isles does not have any bans. It's even possible, I think, they lose one of the bans in their second round, but I think we just need, I want to see that. But yeah, looking at Scylla's bans right off the bat, the Zac is a really good primary engage target. I think Shadow Isles' jungler plays a lot of Zac, and it looks like Shadow Isles' jungler is also probably the highest ranked of their team, so it does make sense to put a ban to him. Syndra, I think, just overall is a fantastic blind. Alongside, I think I'm looking at their OPGG right now. The Ari is something I'm going to be looking for Shadow Isles to pick up. And then Jinx is interesting. So their ADC sub is basically I'm not going to say a one trick, but has most of their games on the Jinx. So taking that Jinx away, expecting Shadow to be one, it's a good pick. Yunara, pretty safe blind, and the answer with Ezreal Pantheon. So already some globals, already some very strong laners coming out on the side of Scylla.
Yeah, love this. You know, a lot of different ways you can go from the Scylla side, right? Are you going to go a straight pick comp? You know, I'm assuming this Pantheon's going to go into the jungle. You know, you occasionally can't see it in the support role. It's going to be answered by the Viego. Very aggressive pick in the jungle. You want this thing to get ahead. You want it to start snowballing. A lot of control this can have around the map, especially when linked up with an aggressive support. Something that has CC, the Nautilus, the Alistar, the Rel, those kind of picks. I love when those two can link up together and roam the map. Now, we won't have the mages in the bot lane that do enable a lot of that.
Thank God.
But we still should see a couple of those things as the Braum comes through. I like the Braum pick too, working with that Viego as we get into the later parts of the early game.
Yeah, that Braum pick is okay. I was actually already thinking about that. I was like, if they pick Viego here, I think the best pick on 3 is going to be Braum because our Braum works really well, even into enchanters, even into mages. Gives them the ability to play the game. Braum already good into Ezreal and Pantheon. If Pantheon does end up going support, but even if it goes jungle, it's fantastic because they're indexing it to dive. Works really well with the Viego to set up a lot of chain CC, just burst. So far, the draft is really good. Obviously, they're going to want some kind of AP, which will fall into the mid lane category, which usually does. Yeah, just to round out, the set pick's kind of interesting. I feel like that's a little bit early. Set is usually a top lane R5 into immobile tanks, like maybe Scion, maybe not so much Mundo, but I think it could be good into Ornn, but I think Set's usually the pick into Scion. And they've drafted a ton of AD, which makes Shadow Isles Malphite potentially could be a really good pickup. So I'm going to be looking for things like Malphite Ahri, I think would be really good for Shadow Isles to pick on their 4-5 if they're able to.
Yep, and that York ban is huge, right? Dig My Own Grave is the York main. Like even in solo queue, 153 games already this year. That's his most by far. But we do have mismatched lanes, right? So top lane is going to get banned out. Obviously, there's only one ban for Shadow Isle. You could see the support ban coming through here, but I think there's enough support picks up that you might just want to ban out some comfort picks from the red side. As we kind of see the last ban here. I actually like both these team comps so far. The Seraphine, there you go. There's a support coming through. The Seraphine ban coming through. Don't want to deal with that amount of poke.
I think Scylla has an issue so far. Their only engage is going to be Pantheon and Set, which are both pretty low range engage options. You only have Pantheon W and you have Set E.
There's some engage.
There's some engage.
Oh my gosh, that's locked in. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
We do see some CC. I really just think out of Isles picks. Like I think Ahri here is a stable matchup. Asol's pretty good. Smolder's pretty good. I think Smolder's a little bit AD. Yeah, I think their only issue is that their ability to find a target might be a little bit tough. And then Malzahar is really good just to lock somebody down. Yeah, Ahri makes sense. Malzahar is really good just to lock somebody down, especially if that Viego goes in a little bit too early. Yeah, I'm really hoping that Giles just slams a Malphite here. I feel like Scylla can't play Silas.
Yeah, and I think what this Braum does as well is it has the disengage that you're going to need for this Yunara. Oh boy, the gauntlet may be thrown down if this Tryndamere is locked into the set. I think we actually just saw this matchup not too long ago, a couple days ago in one of the other divisions. And it did not go well for the set as the Warwick actually comes up the Broken Blade special in the top lane. The Warwick goes into the top lane. Chaos. Any experience with this in the past?
Nothing good. Warwick is a pure stat check champion that you need to really know your level. Malphite comes out for Scylla. Okay, interesting. I'll talk about that in just a second.
Yeah.
Warwick. No, I think it's Pantheon jungle set support. So that's the other thing I was thinking about. So there's a couple things I want to touch on. The first is Warwick is a pure stat stick champion. This champion needs to get ahead early and maybe through to the mid game because at the end of the game, Warwick is not going to be that good. So this is definitely this is the pick that we need to look at. Bot lane stable, mid lane stable. How this Warwick plays out is going to change how the entire game goes. Now, Malphite is a really good pick. You already picked triple AD. Malphite on paper I feel could be really good into Warwick and will outscale Warwick. So Malphite's fantastic. It gives them some engage. They don't have a lot of AP, but Shadow Isles doesn't have a lot of tanks, so I think you're fine there. And the last thing I wanted to mention was that the set pick on 3, as I said, is usually a top lane pick into Scion, but they pick set on 3 knowing that Shadow Elves picked Braum. I don't know. So that's probably a set support. I don't know how the Braum set matchup goes. I feel like on paper it's still Braum favored, but that's another like a little bit of spice. So I want to see how the top lane
It is
Warwick
different,
plays out.
yep.
I want to play how the support set plays out in this game.
Yeah, I think what's going to be cool to see is the set and the Pantheon together. To me, that sounds scary, right? Even if they do run into the Viego Braum, this Ahri needs to be on notice. You're going to need to see good communications from the Shadow Isle side, because if you let the set in the Pantheon roam and go unchecked, don't have good enough vision, they will punish you. But this, Scylla, it's a common pick comp, right? The Malzahar alt, the Malphite alt, set alt, Pantheon alt, it's a pick comp. You need to be very careful with your positioning if you're Shadow Isle. You can't overextend in these side lanes, because even if it's a one-on-one right now, you can't have the Pantheon come on over the top. And so you just need to be careful, right? You need to be careful, make sure you're not overstepping without vision.
Yeah, and Scylla, I mentioned that most of their engage up until the Malphite pick has been kind of either it's a lot of single target apart from like maybe like set E, but it's all pretty short range. Like Malzahar doesn't want to be the person that's going to start a fight with an ult, right? He's like either chain CC or he disrupts dive. Set can go in, but again, it's pretty short range, so you're going to have to find someone to kill. To your point, they have a lot of single target damage and they can burst somebody, but they don't have anyone that can be like, let's take a fight and go in. That Malphite pick does solve that. On the side of Shadow Isle, it's all single target. Like you have a lot of single target CC, which does set up a Viego reset. It does set up an RA reset. You have a lot of CC, you have a lot of chain damage. It's gonna be, can you find the right target? And the target that you find, are they able to survive long enough? Because trying to kill a Malphite, trying to kill a Set, trying to kill a Pantheon, they're not super easy.
Yes. But they do, Shadow Isle, when they do go in, they're going to have to time it just right. Because if you see, the Ahri dash in a little early, you're going to get Malzahar ulted. You're not going to be able to move. You're just going to die. If a Warwick jumps in too early and the Ahri and the Viego aren't ready to follow up, you're going to die. Same with the Viego. So they're going to need to be very, very careful in their timing, and it's going to come down to shot calling. I think in a lot of these games and a lot of these teams, the missing piece is not just gameplay and your mechanics, it's the shot calling, right? You can't be indecisive. You need to say, hey, we're going now, or hey, disengage. And so that's what we're going to need to try to look for as we get into this game. Who looks decisive? Because either side of these drafts, I think, can win. There's no draft diff here. I think both teams just got to figure out who can execute better.
That is
true.
true.
That's pretty much it. Just got to get into game and see if who executes better.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it always comes down to, literally in every game. So if you had to put your channel points on it, game number 1, who are you putting all of your channel points on, Pancake? Are we going towards C22 to lead the series, or are we going with Scylla?
I'm going to go Scylla. Yep,
Scylla?
I'm going to go Scylla. I think Surf and Turf in this top lane is going to still be able to get stuff done against the Warwick and not die on reset, which, like you said, it's a stat check champion. So as long as he doesn't get snowballed on, I think this is going to be a Scylla win.
Beautiful. How about you, Chaos?
I think I also have to side with Scylla for a couple of reasons. I think they won the last matchup. I think the bans might be hurting Shadow Isle, and the ADC sub is a bit of a wild card. And I think Scylla has a lot of tools. Like, even though Shadow Isle does have a lot of pick tools, most of their tools are disengage tools. Like you have you have Braum. You can maybe use Ahri dash away. You can maybe Viego dash away, but Scylla wants to go in. And they're probably going to decide how the game's going. And usually the drafts that have more engage and the more playmaking potential are the drafts that have the slight edge. So nameplate's off, I think it's Scylla. Nameplate's on, maybe it's still Scylla. We'll see.
Okay. No, that's completely fair. And I mean, Scylla, I'm looking at them right now, and I just see a bunch of people that I hate going up against. Set, the Pantheon, the Malzahar, like you said, all that lockdown. And they're just looking, they're itching for that Malphite to go in. And the moment that they try to answer on any means, if the Braum tries to counter, if the Warwick tries to counter, Set's just going to go ahead and ulti whoever tries to start that right on back in the middle of them. So I am also, unfortunately, have to go with a 3-0. Normally I try to, contrarian it a little bit. C22, has this, they have that. If they're able to just run like front to back and not get overzealous, don't push forward, try to survive, like you said, the initial burst that Scylla's able to do, they might be able to go ahead and outwin it. But I am definitely leaning towards Scylla as well myself. But we do have about 1 minute here. While we get ready, we are going to cut it to a short little intermission, but do not go anywhere and spend those channel points. We have a couple minutes left on that. Your boys Pancake, Chaos, and Rylion will be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It's your boy Rylion here with Chaos and Pancake, and this is game number 1 in this playoff series between C22 Shadow Isles versus Scylla. And we have C22 Shadow Isles on blue, Scylla on red. And Pancake, go ahead and break down for us, please, the players and their champions starting on blue side for us.
Yeah, dig my own grave. He's going to be taking that Warwick into the top lane. Hopefully supported a little bit by Mercenary on the Viego. Gino is going to be in the mid lane on the Ahri. And then your bot lane is going to be the Yunara and the Braum with Zoidberg and is it Annabelle Zilli? I don't know how to pronounce that. And Belazak. Oh boy, I'll forget that 18 more times. I apologize in advance. Chaos. Show us who's on the red side.
Okay. I have streamer mode on, so I see champions, but I'm going to do my best. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So we have Surf and Turf in the top lane playing Malphite. The other one I know is Katsuragi Ace is playing Malzahar in the mid lane. And I think Barry Mello is playing Set in the support role. I don't know the others.
Yes. Okay, wait.
Wait, let me try. I was going to guess that.
Yep.
And then
Bonaparte is going to be
Hurricane.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have streamer mode on themselves on Malphite in the top, so Surf and Turf for play-by-play is going to be interesting.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Malphite calls, but, you know, hey, if we have that issue a lot, that usually means he's either getting kills or getting kills. So hopefully, you know, he's hoping he's on the latter.
Fair enough. Any runes or masteries, though, that are kind of reaching out to you guys in the beginning parts of this game?
As I kind of look through them, they're all, you know, pretty much what I expect. The grasp for that Warwick is pretty normal. No ignite on the blue side, as you do have the ignite for the Malphite. Warwick decided to go with the barrier, a little more defensive there. And then double TP in the mid lane for both sides. So nothing too crazy. Should set up for a pretty even start, even though this Malphite is slapping away at the Warwick early and often.
Yeah, a couple things that I see off the bat. The exhaust on Ezreal's interesting. Sometimes we see TP on Ezreal because they like to get the early tier. I also personally don't like Ignite on just in general, especially on supports. I think exhaust and healer are going to get a ton of value throughout the course of the game. So maybe going for something like a barrier exhaust instead of an exhaust ignite. But it does look like they are trying to win this bot lane, which is also evident from the jungle pathing. We saw that Pantheon was pathing down, but Viego was pathing up into this Warwick lane. Okay, I was like, is
A
that
lot
not
of
the Warwick guys
respect
here?
by Surf and Turf there. For those of you who don't know, Warwick gets a lot of added stats when he is low health. So, still, even though you see the discrepancy there, Surf and Turf on the Malphite has to respect the damage of the Warwick. I've seen it catch a lot of solo queue players out. As we see
Oh,
our
Looks like a
first
play
game.
mid.
yes, sir. Mercenary Mac forces the flash out of Katsuragi. And yeah, good use of that. Gets out, still 0-0.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
that's-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really interesting what Viego did. Viego did it. Okay, well, now we have pause. Perfect. We get time to talk. So Viego did a bot to top clear, but because they were able to drop red ward on red side's Raptors, Viego was able to take the Scuttle and invade the Raptors, which set up for that play. While Pantheon, I think, just ended up getting a Scuttle and was just late to the play. So really good usage of the early game Warden Vision to burn that flash. That's going to be really important. That flash is going to be down for 5 minutes. That's going to be very important for two things. One, when both mid laners hit 6, if Malzahar ends up perma pushing, Viego can redo the same thing, this time get a kill, which is going to set their carry jungler up. But 2, it's also going to be really important for this upcoming Drake, which I think both teams are going to value Drakes. No, I mean, I will say Warwick values Grubs because he does want to split push, but both teams in general are going to value Drake. So really good play by the Viego to get an early flash out of the Malzahar.
Yeah, and if I'm Ari, I'm like, hey, thank you for that first gank, but please, sir, may I have some more? Right? You need to be
Yep.
spam ganking this mid laner. Punish the flash being down. With an Ari and a Viego, as we kind of get back into game right away, Ari and Viego should be able to kill this Malzahar on repeat if he steps up even a little bit. So, something to keep an eye out for. You definitely should see the regank as we go on for these next 5 minutes. As we have
Looks
no
like
pause.
there's
Yeah.
another
Rating
pause.
pauses.
And
I will
just
say,
a heads up real quick here. I am also being told that Surf and Turf in the top side and Katsuragi in the mid are she's and hers, by the way. So sorry about that. We will
Good
correct
info.
that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for that anecdote,
Yep.
and we will correct that. Thank you so much, guys.
Twitch chat undefeated. Thank you so much.
Twitch chat undefeated. Yeah, W to the Ezreal set for not actually killing the Yunara when they DC'd. So good sportsmanship. They'll get a +1 point for me. The arbitrary chaos points that
Sweet.
I'm just gonna start giving out now.
Beautiful.
Ryline, are you killing that Yunara or are you being a good sport?
No, you gotta be a good sport in this circumstance.
good.
Now, my ping shoots up to 10,000 all time. I know a Spectrum customer when I see one. Okay, so my heart kind of goes out to Belazak right now because this is like the worst, especially when you're on stream. You know what I mean? It's like, damn you, Spectrum.
Yeah. Chaos, I actually got an interesting point here we can kind of talk about quickly. I love looking as we're in the early game. Right? Which side, if this game all of a sudden goes to 40 minutes, right? Which side do you favor in that 40-minute marathon game, Baron and Elder up at the same time, that style of game? Which team would you rather be on in that kind of scenario?
So this is where I feel as though engage comes into play, because if you're 40 minutes together and if you're blue team, I don't think you guys are happy to fight, because your only engage is going to be what is your engage really, because they don't have a tank, and the people that are going to be tanky on their team are not amazing. Or you have like Warwick ult, maybe you have like Ari charm for picks, and then you have like Braum who can like Q and R, right? Most of their tools are fringe, they're single target, they're pick, right? So blue side's team, like Shadow Owl's team, does way better in the mid game where they can move around the map and try to kill people just one person at a time. But Scylla's team can do anything. They have good damage spread, they have good CC, they have teamfight potential and pick potential, which is why I think Scylla's draft is a little bit better. So I think it's a good question. I would probably give it to Scylla. I think their scaling is also pretty good. Obviously, I think Shadow Isles has a lot more damage, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be harder to lock anyone on Scylla down to do that burst damage. If that makes sense.
And you know what? I'm going to go the opposite way, because I think things like these Pantheon kind of falls off a cliff late game and kind of feel like you don't know where to go, right? If you all of a sudden decide, okay, hey, I'm going to try to pick somebody in the back line, everyone's full build, you're gonna get popped in no time at all, right? You better have a GA up, flash up to survive that. I think there is enough of gauge, right? You're gonna see this Warwick ult in. You're gonna see the Braum W onto the Warwick and ult after that, right? You're gonna have an ulting Ari jumping in. You're gonna have an ulting Yunara also jumping in, and then the Viego ulting in over the top. I think it's very much they can play the front to back style, right, with the disengage on the Braum, and just sit behind that Braum. But they can also say, "Hey, go button now," right? And you're gonna see all 4 champions who have movement abilities go in an instant, right? So I think it's gonna be a little bit more easy of a play for that side. I think it's a little bit more difficult, but late game Ezreal scares me a lot. Ryline, you could probably talk about this being an ADC. Who do you prefer late game, full build, the Yunara or the Ryze?
The Yunara,
or not the Ryze, excuse me, the Ezreal.
I was like, Ryze, he's gonna have like 40,000 mana. He's gonna blow.
I played an A-Ring before this, and I played Ryze. Okay, so it's still in my mind.
No, you're
that game, by the way.
Understandable. I mean, personally, I'm a new Ezreal player, so my preference would be to lean towards the Yunara, but a great Ezreal player will be able to just absolutely, like, just two-shot you from halfway across the screen, and then you get a true-shot barrage to the face, and then you're just dead. But Yunara's, I like the point-and-click personally. I think she's able to get right up, like, just in your grill and just point and click crits. I'm the simpleton. So I lean towards the Yunara. I just think she's going to have a little bit more difficulty, like you said, just getting through to the Ezreal in general to apply that much damage. And it looks like we are back through all of the technical difficulties here from Anbella's back. So it is going to be a slightly longer pause, though, because we had quite a pause on that. So do not worry. But again, that late game scaling capabilities, Ezreal, I mean, there's going to be a ceiling that everybody hits once you get full build, right? Now you're just kind of battling death timers at this case and just don't get aced. That's the whole name of the game, especially when you're at that 40-45 minute mark. So,
yep.
You know,
the wild card for this whole thing, I think, is let's just say this Warwick gets ahead, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a champion on the red side that can match the split push ability of the Warwick, right? You put a Malzahar there, you know, she's got the CC, but I still would take the Warwick if the Warwick's, you know, got some gold and got some items. So that's just a little wild card. If they do decide to play the 1-4, the 1-3-1, that Warwick can be a menace pushing on those side lanes.
Is this a hole breaker kind of
that's
game
exactly...
you think for Warwick?
Say again?
Is this a hole breaker kind of game you think for Warwick?
No. I don't think we go that far.
No,
I mean,
hell no. Okay.
You know, at that point, if you're gonna go hull breaker, you're gonna communicate to your jungler until you get grubs, and then after that, you mute everything and act like you don't have teammates and you just sit in lane, right? So I don't see that happening, especially in a playoff game like this. As we see in early Dragon, I love this play, right? You have bot pressure, take advantage of it, but that's another aspect here is there's more pressure here, and usually when there's more pressure, people play safer. So kind of just something to watch. You know, it should be a slower early game pacing than we're used to seeing in the regular season.
Yeah, I do want to see the Warwick be split perma-split this game. I think it's going to be hard into the Malphite, but Malphite also doesn't have TP, so he's not going to get the extra shield when he comes in. But Warwick in these fights, like I said, is going to be really difficult. Whoever Warwick decides to ult in a team fight, and if you're looking at Warwick as your team's primary engage, you're going to have to deal with whoever you ult. You're going to have other people that are going to be able to fight back. You're going to have Set that's going to like ER you to cancel you. You're going to have Pantheon W. You're going to have Mal's R. You're going to have Malphite ult. Right? You're going to have so many things that'll interrupt your cast before you're able to get meaningful damage out to their team. So I want I want the Warwick to be perma split this game to pull pressure. And maybe if you can pull either Malzahar or Malphite, that's going to be helping your team win the cross-map 4v4. Because I think the 4v4 could be winning for the side of Shadow Isles. The 5v5 is where I find it'll be pretty tricky.
Okay, we got to look at some itemization already. Serpent Turf, she is not playing passive whatsoever. The Lost Chapter, right off the bat, this is not going to be a tanky Malphite. This is, I'm going to press R to win the game and kill you in 2.6 seconds.
Yeah, I think Malphite, you can go... Oh, there's a play.
Oh, yeah, right into the bot lane. We do see the Viego mercenaries on the hunt for that first blood, and they do pick it up. Bonaparte, see ya later. And that's going to be first blood picked up here by the Shadow Isles and given on over to, unfortunately, the Braum, Zoidberg.
Yeah, so a couple things about that. So really good gank by Viego. This is the second time he was able to come or to make his presence known on the map, and this time it ended up turning into a kill. As you said, unfortunate that the Braum ended up getting the kill. I think the Viego definitely would have preferred that. But we did also burn the Ezreal flash, so that's going to be huge for the next play. They're going to get some temporary resets. Critically, though, the Yunara was not able to get anything out of that. It wasn't able to get an assist. Not the worst, but just something to consider.
Yeah, and the flash is the big thing as we see the ult coming in.
Oh my god.
From the Pantheon.
Yes, sir, and the flash used from Malphite here to try to run down Dig My Own Grave, but like you said, that attack speed and that health, and that's able to get at least one. Can they go for a second one? Digging My Own Grave said, not today.
No.
The True Shot Barrage, along with the ultimate that was being held on for the very last second, and a double kill. Clip that. Dig My Own Grave, no thank you. Dig 2 for the other team. 3-0 now for the Shadow Isles.
Whoa, Scylla, we have a problem, and it's a Warwick in the top lane. 2-0-0, gets the 2v1 kill. You know, we talked about this earlier. The stats go up as the health goes down, right? The attack speed comes in, the ult comes through, able to win and outplay the top jungle, therefore Scylla. Wow, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah, we talked about how Warwick is basically a stat check champion, and he knew his limits in that play to the point that the Malphite is forced to now go Brimble Vest second item. But right before that, I mean, the Malphite, or the Warwick ate so much. There's a Malphite ult, there's a Pantheon ult, there's an Ezreal ult, ate 3 ults and still killed 2 players. Yeah, huge play for the Warwick, especially he wants to get ahead early. If Warwick does not get ahead early, he's not going to have a lot of pressure throughout the game because he wants to be your split push side threat. So this Warwick is that Exodia piece that I want to see how this Warwick plays through the mid game, how is he able to win the map.
Yeah, if I'm Warwick right now, if I'm Dig My Own Grave in comms, I'm like, hey, bot lane, just farm up, don't feed. I will carry this early game. You might need to carry me late game, but I'm going to push us to this mid to late game and accelerate us, because I think as long as this Ezreal doesn't get fed for whatever reason, this Warwick is going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, one other thing to mention, Shadow Isles was able to pick up the grubs, so that's going to make the turret split push threat even more crazy for the Warwick just to take over the whole map.
Yep, and this might be one of those situations where you could see a Hull Breaker. I mean, it might make a little bit of sense, but I still don't think we'll see it go through in the randomization.
Trying to see, it looks like they're playing the next Drake now. Looks like that's going to take a reset, but the Drake does look really good for Drake stacking WinCon on the side of Scylla. Brian, what do you think about that?
No, the Drake stack, I mean, that's going to be a really good thing. I just wanted to mention the CS difference right now between the mid laners. That is a 30 CS lead currently in favor of Katsuragi there. And look at the CS difference also in the junglers, but in favor of Shadow Isles, actually. 92 to 71 with a 001 to a 010 on the Pantheon. So Hera, you know, showed up in lane, got killed, and now is 20 CS behind. Like, that's kind of big right now. And look at the gold difference. I'll go ahead and show that for you guys if you guys want to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're going to have the gold difference in the mid lane. But for me, the bigger one is actually in jungle, right? If this Pantheon struggles to get its a good next gank off, and this ult doesn't come to fruition, Pantheon feels really bad playing from behind as a flash comes in from Barry Mello.
Yep, a whole 4v4 happening right now by the Dragon Pit. Yep, teleport's also being used, but in the top lane, we do have a 1v1 Warwick running down Malphite there. And hold on one second, here comes the showstopper by Barry Mello. Takes Braum right to the back, and that is a haymaker with a lot of true damage to be done. And here comes the Grand Skyfall from Hurricane. That's a lot of ultis. Genova stepping up right into the middle of all that action. And a double kill execute picked up there by Hurricane. And at least 3 for 1 trade. And oh my god, Viego almost able to clean it up. But Bonaparte, along with the rest of his crew, able to pick apart those members of C22. It's now 5-4, but they don't want to press their luck and get this Infernal Drake, and I think that's smart as the teleport is coming through right now from Warwick, who is going to be on the hunt, and I don't know if he's going to back in time as Hera is very low on the health bars, and we know what that means for the passive for Warwick, and dig my own grave said dig another one there, as C22 picks up another kill, and this is just turning into a bloodbath, and only a 500 gold difference now between these two teams.
Yeah, that was still really huge chaos for that Pantheon, right as I was saying it. Hey, this next ult needs to have some impact on the game. Ends up getting 2 kills in that fight to not fall too far behind of the Viego. So still impactful now in this mid-game. But wow, what a fight. And this Warwick now 4-0-0. Still a problem, if anyone was wondering.
So it ended up, the start of the fight was really interesting because there was a huge trade that happened mid, which forced the Ahri out and she used the Spirit Rush to get out, which just made me think that Scylla's just going to be able to take the Drake for free. And the fact that Shadow Owls was tried to contest, I think, was an error, knowing that the Ahri didn't have the Spirit Rush for that fight. Now, it looked... Oh, there's another fight.
Oh, Katsuragi has no vision, and that was such a good setup there by Hera.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, by Mercenary. Sorry about that.
Yeah, the nice pickup there, that is going to convert into the... It should convert into the Drake. It'll be interesting to see if Scylla decides to contest it. No, it looks like they're going to go away. The Pantheon looks like he's... Okay, so the Drake is going to go over to the side of Shadow Isles, which is a really good pickup for them to try to slow down the Drake stacking. Oh
my god, I mean, blue
nice
team
burst.
did secure it, but Hera's going to go ahead and take at least one nice setup there from Set to go ahead and try to protect his friend, but Bonaparte kind of free, hitting whatever he wants, and nice, actually, passive there from Braum. That's a double kill pickup by the Pantheon, and yeah, that was a beautiful cleanup there, triple kill, and by the Pantheon, I meant the Pantheon soul that was possessed by Mercenary. Viego now 4-1-2, and C22 is just taking it away as we enter the 14-minute mark here.
Yeah,
The
I
big
was
thing
kind of
that-
getting upset at them for just even being in the area, right? Get something somewhere else. But they had the vision, Chaos, to say, hey, let's see if we can't pick somebody off. Was able to jump on, I think, what was the first one? Was that the Ahri? And kill him pretty quick. And then the fight continues from there. Turned around very quickly by the Viego, gets the resets. And it almost looked hopeless there for the side of Scylla.
Yeah, the Scylla didn't have a numbers advantage, so Shadow Isles is able to just pick people off one at a time. Where I think Scylla has a better team fight because they have the Haymaker, they have the Arcane True Shot Barrage, they have the Unstoppable Force. They have a lot of AoE abilities and enough CC to lock them down for all the damage to hit. But if they trickle in one by one, that's when the single target CC and the damage from the entirety of Braum's kit, from the Charm, from Viego ult, all of that is how Shadow Isles wants to play this fight. They want to go for these slow, like, one-on-one, or like, find one person at a time and kill them. But Scylla, if they get a 5-man unit together, I think they will be able to win some of these fights.
Yeah, in Chaos, we see a lot of times in these games, teams get ahead early and they just don't know how to properly progress the game. And what I mean by that is, hey, turn these advantages into objectives, into towers, into vision, pushing your vision into the enemy jungle. And so it's going to be interesting to see here how Shadow Isle does that, right? Are we going to start seeing the vision creep up? Are we going to start seeing these turrets come falling, right? And that starts with Mercenary working with, whether it's a support, whether it's your mid laner, to say, okay, hey, I'm going to pressure here, wherever here is, and pushing this lead that they have. Don't sit back on, oh, hey, we have a fed jungler and a fed top laner. No, we need to continue to push this game to make sure Scylla does not catch up.
Yeah, as you said, like, there's another fight.
Here comes, Mercenary with another beautiful gank and a charm. Janoba on point with those. Great job by him for that setup. And now 5-1-2 extends his lead a little bit further here for Mercenary.
Yeah, huge pickup for the Viego. This is just really good of Viego to find like really good picks onto the Malzahar. I don't think Malzahar flashed yet for that play, so that's just another kill. It's going to give them a lot of tempo. One thing I do want to mention is that we did see the Warwick that ended up picking up the Herald. So if they're able to play to the side of the Warwick, let him get like 2 turrets together, that could be a huge way to extend the lead. I think though it's not obviously that bad for Scylla because I personally want to see how they're going to be team fighting. If they can get a Malphite ult, if they can get a set ult onto like 1 or 2 people, they can clean up the fight. It's going to come down to how much can Warwick do? How much of a threat is he going to put inside? Can he literally get to the enemy nexus by himself? Like this is Warwick's game to win the side, and this is Viego's game to win the fights or win the team fights.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how much grouping does he actually do. But I want to go back to a point you made. This is not over for Scylla, right, at all. The amount of pick potential they have with the Malzahar ult, with the ult of the Pantheon, with the ult of the Malphite, like, if you step out of place for a second, even if you are a 4-0-0 Warwick, you're going to die with the amount of CC and the amount of pick potential they have. So, still need to be careful on the side of Shadow Isle, but you're in the driver's seat, right? Where you want to be. Now let's just see if you can pull through and execute in this mid to late game.
Like Scylla's gonna try to take down this mid tier 1. It might get collapsed on. Like it's
Tier 1 though does fall, so that's at least
Okay.
something there that's picked up. And yep, nope, hiding in their own jungle, they are able to get away. I like that. I like that. Try to
I
mitigate
would
the
like to
bleeding.
see this Warwick go to the bot lane, right? You've taken the tier 1 on top, rotate into the bot, and you might be doing that right
Yeah.
now. Turn the pressure there. Let's get these lanes allocated properly.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Now
they
we have a
just-
setup, a flank coming in from Mercenary behind the tier 1 in the mid. The Rift Herald gets popped here. Doesn't quite break it just yet, but it is knocking on death's door. They don't quite get it, but 3 seconds on the Chemtech that is going to be popping up here. And yeah, I think this is going to be uncontested. The second dragon picked up here by Shadow Isles. And yeah, with no pressure, no wards, they definitely should be giving this one up. But they don't. Genova's going to dash forward with the Spirit Rush. Lands a beautiful charm. Forces the flash out of Hurricane there. A nice setup from Braum, who's just getting his passive off onto everybody. And Mercenary is going to go into Unstoppable while they do take out Barry. And they're not done just yet. They want Katsuragi there underneath their tower. And Malphite with the ultimate almost gets it just a sliver off. Almost gets Mercenary in the shutdown. But a double kill picked up by Dig My Own Grave. I mean, that was a beautiful look by Surf and Turf there. And Katsuragi tried to hold their own underneath tower. They just could not do so. A little bit, I think, too much in the tank right now. That is C22 Shadow Isles. And 14-5 as we enter 20 minutes here. How do they come back, really? What is their win condition, I would say to you two, for the side of Scylla? And hold on one second. We do have Pantheon trying to turn it around. I think focus the wrong individual. That's all right. Can they knock down and Belazak? They can't. The flash comes through the internet. Back up, but the True Shot Barrage finds its target, and down goes Belazak. Great shot by Bonaparte there. So, again, trying to climb their way back. Lowers it to a 5k deficit now. But what's their win con, you would say, for Scylla? And how do they achieve this victory in game number 1 here?
I think the way that they need to be playing these fights is not trying to be disconnected. Every single play we've seen for the last 2 neutral contests have been one person walking in a little too far, getting picked off, giving Ari reset, giving Viego reset, and then that slowly goes on. That whole fight, Malphite wasn't there. I think there's one other play, either the Ezreal or the Malzahar wasn't there. So if they group up as 5 and then they if they become that kind of, you know, big huge boulder, pun intended, then that they can just like walk through the entirety of Shadow Isle. I still believe that you can win a 5v5 team fight if they group up. We just haven't been able to see that yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm losing a little faith on the 5v5. I think you more need to try to, okay, hey, let's find these side lane picks and turn it into, you know, whether you can continue the fight elsewhere as a 5v4, or if you can turn them into Drakes, you know, one or the other, right? You need to do something. I don't know how I feel about the 5v5. You need a pretty miraculous Malphite ult, in my opinion, to win that in your favor.
Spectrum strikes again.
Yeah.
Crazy
Okay.
first
So
one. Ooh.
let me. I guess you're definitely right. Okay. A 5v5 at this point could be sketch, just given the raw stat difference, the 5k gold lead. Then instead, what I want to see is at least multiple members of Scylla grouped up, including their primary engage, which is the Malphite, and then finding someone important to kill. In this case, it would be the Viego or the Warwick, because they both have shutdowns. I think if they allocate maybe 3 people or 4 people, at least get 2 or 3 members worth of the numbers advantage and play for the shutdown. Like at this point, you're probably not going to be able to play correct macro. You're not going to be able to get quality vision control to set up plays without a cost, right? So at this point, look at the shutdown as the neutral objective, quote unquote, and just play for that. Just send Malphite, send Ezreal, send Set, send Pantheon, and then try to get the Warwick shutdown. You're probably going to lose mid and bot for it, but you can't play clean League of Legends from this point on to win the game. You have to play sloppy League, you have to get your shutdowns, and then slowly crawl back.
Here's my fear in a 5v5 is what you're going to have happen is even if this Warwick, let's just say, to start the 5v5, is a little pushed up, gets Malphite ult, you have the Malzahar ult come on top of that, then what do you have, right? Because Pantheon's probably Wing as well. Now you're just, even in a 5v5,
Oh,
5v4,
this is what you guys were just talking about coming to fruition.
Foreshadowing.
4 people dedicated to dig my own grave, and finally, I think the shutdown does get taken, and Surf and Turf gets it on the board now, 1 and 3. So, hey, I think they might be tuning in and listening.
Yeah, there you go. My only fear is, like I said, if once you use those tools, how does the fight go after that, right? You lose the Malzahar at the Malphite ult. You need to have some semblance of follow-up, and with an item disparity, as you might see a kill here. Oh,
Ooh, nice moves from Katsuragi there. Genova missing the charm ever so slightly, and with that information also, they are going to start the Baron. What a bold move here from Shadow Isles. Let's see if it pays off. Zoidberg is going to go ahead and start the engage. Very nice fissure. Set's going to go ahead and drag Mercenary right to his fist.
Run.
And yeah, has to use the ultimate in a defensive measure this time. So I think that was actually pretty nice. Teleport for teleport. Katsuragi dodges everything upon entering. And yeah, 5v5 now. Let's see if they are able to actually win this one. Scylla setting up, and C22 actually, Shadow Isles having to be forced back into their own jungle. I don't know if the Baron can or should be taken. They're about 50% health on their ADC and their top laner here, but they are all dancing around it, clearing vision back and forth. Everyone's waiting. It's like an old Western movie. Who is going to draw first and begin this fight? The first shot yet to be fired. Genova, though, stepping up, gets a nice little poke action with the Q, and they are now starting to back down. Ground is going to be lost. The Flash E does connect, and Barry gets taken out. Mercenary gets one, and Belzak gets the second one. Another beautiful charm. This is the charm Genova, as highlight after highlight after highlight there. 3 members now, and I think that's a Baron setup there for Shadow Isles. Correct me if I'm wrong, but very nice long team fight, but ended up going in Shadow Isles' favor, obviously.
I say, so Scuttle Division, that's what this is, right? Scuttle Division?
Yes, sir.
What amazing patience for the side of Shadow Isle, right? You had to wait there. Any overstep could have been punished immediately by a Malzahar comp. And you wait, you find your entry kind of more on the top side of Baron, and push them out, and as they're leaving, you get that pick, and you just continue to go for more. That's the good thing about this Shadow Isle comp, is once you get one pick, you have more go buttons. The Ahri ult, the Warwick ult, as we're about to see it all over again here.
Yes,
Live.
indeed we are. Setting up again, starting with another beautiful charm here from Genova, and the action does not stop. Shadow Isles playing in broad daylight here, it seems like, as Mercenary takes another soul, and Belazak said, you know what, I'm going to get Spectrum dipped again anyways, it doesn't matter, as the Malzahar ulti gets canceled by the Viego ulti. I didn't even know the interaction existed, but we're all learning something new. He gets a triple kill before getting taken down, 3 for 2 overall, so a little bit of light being shined in here for Scylla. Dragon was not taken, so they might be able to get a dragon here. Genova really low, has no mana, has no health, should get out of there. And yeah, it looks like this is going to be a Scylla Drake, so 2-2 right now. And what happened? How did C22 lose that one?
They were unorganized, right? They're kind of all over the place. That blast plant was really funny. Made the Malzahar go right in the middle of 3 people for some reason. They just looked at each other and said, act like we weren't here. And he was able to walk out. But, you know, hey, you were able to kind of keep the fight dirty. You talked about that earlier, Ryline, where you're like, I don't know if that was you or Chaos. Did he kind of have to play messy league at this point? And that was a messy fight. And that's what you need to be looking for if you're the side of Scylla. Find something messy, get a couple picks. They were able to kill the Warwick, who went a little too deep, a little too early. And then go from there. See how things go. It was a 2 for 3 in favor of Shadow Isle, so still not a fight in their favor, but they do get that dragon to even things up.
Oh, and here we go. Pantheon is just going to go ahead. Grand Skyfall right to the top side, but no, Warwick ulti's on out of there, and yeah, I mean, still seems like anybody's game here, though, Chaos. I mean, yeah, they have Baron, it's 20-9, and they're up 6k gold, but we've seen worser leads thrown.
Yeah, it all started with the pick onto the Malphite, which is what I said right after the pause, that you just want to invest your resources into getting that shutdown. Now, once you get that shutdown, you have some semblance of map control to take over that side again, which is exactly what they did. I don't think the Baron was the best call, but I think if you're going to try to do the 5v5, you should not be afraid to pull the trigger, because they all tried to leave, then that's how Ari got a couple amazing charms to convert to the Baron. If the Malphite ulted, I think it would have been different, and then a little bit of extra over tempo and looking for some fights that might be some
and here we go, another fight begins here, and Genova's actually going to be again the initiator. Nice ulti from Set onto the backline, but Bonaparte is just getting picked apart again, and oh my god, that's going to be 2 members now. Double kill picked up here from Ezreal, and all of the members are gone now. Malzahar is the only one who wasn't there, unfortunately. And let's see, I mean, they have the ability just to siege. They have 30-second death timers on 4 of the members here. No Baron, though. But still, I mean, I think this might be the last nail in the coffin, I think, here for game number 1, unfortunately.
Yeah, if you're a team that's getting ready to play this Shadow Isle side, let's just say they win or lose, right? You're the next team playing. Do not let Mercenary get this Viego. Watching him play this Viego is it's awesome, right? You obviously see the champion mastery there, and he knows how to wield it. He knows how to play from ahead, and he's putting on a clinic right now. 12-2 and 6, with 267 farm on the Viego.
Yeah, Zico is definitely have a masterclass performance. That was really good for him to get to the Ezreal in the backline that last fight. That's honestly all their DPS. Pantheon can do some upfront burst, but then after that he doesn't really have much. Malzahar, I think, isn't really strong at the moment, so getting that kill on Viego means you basically win the fight. You just have to be able to one-shot the Viego before you can get to that point, so you have to pull the trigger. I think at this point it is kind of difficult. Like, you're gonna have to play extremely messy league to the point that you're gonna have to like 5v1 someone and then still maybe lose 2 sides of the map. But you need to be able to keep doing that, identifying correct key targets, get the shutdowns, just keep doing what you did on the Malphite kill to come back into the game. If that's what, or on the Warwick kill, to get back into the game from this point.
Yeah, and if you're on the side of Scylla, right, you're in conflict. You're like, hey, how can we stall to 40 minutes, like we talked about at the beginning of this game, where the gold doesn't matter as much, you know, full builds start to come in, and the gold lead means less and less. So that's what you're trying to tell yourself. The benefit they have going for them is it's 2 for 2 in dragons right now. So it's not like they're going to be forced into a fight on this next dragon coming up in a minute here. They can give it over if they want to. They don't need to walk into this comp, which is an absolute death wish for them right now. As this
man, Mercenary with the flash stun, and then the follow-up by the Warwick with his ultimate to hold Surf and Turf into play. Surf and Turf has to use the Unstoppable Force to get away, but no, they're just going to get ran down, unfortunately. And they are wanting to end this and push this to a game 2 as soon as possible here. 29 minutes right now for the Shadow Isles, and they know the longer that they have this, they let this go, the more likely a slip-up can occur here. I know they're trying to play methodically, but I think there's such thing as too methodically at this point. They're not pushing up the side lanes, I don't think, as quickly as they need to be at the moment, but there seems to be some correction there. I mean, set 06 and 4, are we trying to wait for like an engage from the Braum to try to ulti him, or like are we just strictly trying to play defense like Turtle, wait for them to come to us, and then try to, again, get a pick off in that regards? Like, what is Scylla, what would you be doing if you were on this team right now trying to play into this?
Yeah, I got something. That what you got to do is you gotta tell you whoever's the shot caller on the Scylla side, just go, hey, I'm gonna try to find us a pick, and I'm gonna say go. We cannot hesitate. Like when you're behind like this and you see an opportunity to pick, if you hesitate even for a second, one other player coming into the fray means the world. So you need to be decisive when you're behind like this. You know, hey, we see this Warwick, go now. Boom, 3 ults. That's something we need to see.
Oh, nice flash. Does get a beautiful ulti off, though, onto Embelezak, but there's no other follow-up, and blue team does secure the Baron. I mean, just a sliver of health again. Really close from Surf and Turf there, but nobody else from Scylla was able to do anything to follow up. So that is going to be a Hurricane and Surf and Turf down. That's Baron now. 40-second death timers on those two members. It is a 5v3. This looks like that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, and they are looking to finally end it here. Katsuragi, nice flash, but the flash follow-up from Genoba. The charm does hit the big toe, and Genoba is on a rampage now. And that's 3 members down here for at least another 20 seconds on the side of Scylla. Baron now spread in 2 different lanes. Tier 3s falling in the mid and the top lane. And they will have a base broken open now. 31 minutes and 33 seconds looking to end it all so they can go to game number 2 in the first game of the playoffs here between Scylla and Shadow Isles. And Shadow, yep, now we're playing methodically. This is a battle of attrition. We have a lot of cannon minions that are just berating the Nexus towers here. The right one's going to be falling here, Mr.
There's
President.
5 of them.
The second one, I've never seen so many on, I don't think this is a pre-planned thing, but that just happened to fall in their favor. I like the setup here from Shadow Isles, and they are going to go ahead and start the engage. Nice patience, though, set up there from Set. Does get actually a couple members low. Zoidberg holding on with a sliver of health, but they're just too strong. I thought for a second maybe they can come back, and maybe they might be able to get the shutdowns needed, but hold on one second. Good Malzahar ulti. The shutdown does get picked up, but now with all the focus onto the Nexus, they do lock it down. And, I mean, still, they did what they could up until the very end. Valiant effort here from the side of Scylla, but Shadow Isles takes this one, leads the series now 1-0.
Yeah, at the very end, we saw the Warwick try to ult in, and then Set ulted the Warwick out before the full channel. That's the kind of fight I was hoping for most of the game. Just get everyone on the same page, and either you start the fight with a Malphite ult yourself, or you counter-engage with a Set ult and stuff like that, or like Malzahar ult. That's kind of what I want to see, but I think at this point it's a little too late for that. I think you could, the entirety of the Shadow Isles team could just like stat check with all the gold that they have. So really, overall, just really good play by the Shadow Isles squad. Very, I would say, clean win, very dominating win. We had, I would say, 3 winning lanes and a winning jungle. Pretty good macro, good fighting. So, yeah, just great performance.
Yeah, if you're on the side of Scylla, this stinks, but this is exactly how the first series went against Shadow Out. Right? They got outplayed in game 1. They kind of got stomped, and they came back and they won game 2 and 3. So this is far from over. I do want to see some changes. In my opinion, Surf and Turf, you need to give her something with a little bit more urgency in the laning phase, to say the least. You know, like the Mordekaiser, like the Mbessa that we saw in the first matchup between these two. I just feel like, you know, she was having to play from behind against a champion that 1v1 is just better than Malphite. So I'd like to see a counter pick, which I guess she did have the counter pick, but something with some urgency in lane that the jungle can kind of come and try to exploit, because that's what led to victories in their last meeting.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we have still a lot of League of Legends potential to be played here. We are going to go ahead and cut to a short little intermission while we get ready for game number 2. Hopefully, Scylla, you know, mental resets, really big here. I'm a huge proponent of those. You know, after every game, we didn't really get to do it yesterday for Cat's son. So I'm hoping Scylla is able to go ahead, lock in, you know, forget game number 1 even happened and move into a game 2. But we are going to be, again, right back with just a little bit. Chaos, Pancake, and your boy Ride Lion are going to be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It's your boy Ryline here with Chaos and Pancake, and we're bringing you all the action in the Scuttle Division playoffs between Shadow Isle and Scylla. Shadow Isle currently leads the series 1-0 in a pretty demanding, dominant victory there. It was, what, 20-9, I think is how it ended in that first scoreline? But Scylla's trying to fight their way back. What improvements or what pointers would you guys say that Scylla needs to address compared to the last game going into this one?
Yeah, that's a good question. So first off, I thought Scylla's draft was better, but both drafts are really good. I don't want to see them do anything too crazy with draft. I think maybe just do what you were saying. I think it comes down to execution, like I think all of us on the desk are saying. It just comes down to who's able to fight better, who has better hands, and who has better control. One thing to note is that Shadow didn't have any bans, and they had such a decisive win in that game one, so it doesn't seem like the bans are holding them back too much. So I don't really know what I'm looking for. It looks like the bans are the same on the Scylla side of this game. And one thing to note is that Scylla did lose game one, so they got a chance to pick sides, so they picked second pick here. So same sides of draft. Are you guys looking for anything specific out of this draft from maybe the previous series that you guys watched?
Yeah, actually, for the Scylla side, something I want to be aware of. First of all, and I talked about at the end of game one, Surf and Turf, she needs to get on the champion with more urgency, right? She has done a very good job this season on being able to carry games from the top lane, as we see the Twitch being first picked by Shadow Isle.
Ooh.
But what I also want to note out is if this fill-in ADC can play any mage bot, Katsu plays a really mean Yasuo. So it helps to be able to play that Yasuo, the AD mid lane, as when you have an AP mage in the bot lane. So that's just something to kind of watch out for, an option, as we're going to see a mirror pick on the bot side with the Twitch and Ashe.
I think you bring up an interesting point, Pancake. I think, we looked at the Yunara, we looked at the ADC sub as being like, yeah, I don't know what's really going to happen. They actually did a pretty good job. Like, they weren't the star of the show, but sometimes your job is just to let yourself get carried. Getting carried itself is a skill. They did a really good job at neutralizing, letting the Viego and Warwick just get them to the win. So really good job. Twitch is, now they're looking to have the new ADC sub play Twitch again. I need to get onto the names. I'm sorry for everybody. But yeah, we see the Twitch coming in. I guess we'll see how that goes. Ashe Seraphine, fantastic. R1, R2, just super blindable. Has a lot of damage and a lot of setup. So what I guess, yeah, Twitch, Lulu makes sense. So I guess then the mages is a really good call. And although now we see, unless the Twitch is flexed to the jungle in this game, I think we're going to be seeing a standard ADC versus ADC game. So anything else you're looking out for in either jungle, mid, or top role?
Well, so I like this Ashe Seraphine, right? I think it has a little more urgency than their last bot lane. This is a fill-in ADC for the side of Shadow Isle, right? If you're Scylla, attack that, right? The communications might not be on point between ADC and support like they usually are. That's something you might be able to attack. I love this Jarvan pick. I think Jarvan right now is a top 3 jungler. Very versatile. Good in pretty much every situation, and even is very versatile with the way he can build his different build paths. So, like the Jarvan, we'll see if Scylla decides to mirror this pick and go with, right now, what I think is the strongest jungler in the game on this patch, the Vi. Yeah,
so it's kind of clear what Scylla's looking to do. The J4 pick, as you said, fantastic. It's good in Ashe Seraphine, it's good in mobile. It sets up for Twitch really well, giving him a front line, locking them down for Twitch's spray and pray. I was actually hoping that Scylla would have picked maybe some, not crazy dive. I think Vi likes to be paired with a champion that can dive on top of him, maybe something like a Galio or a Camille. I was thinking of something like a Xin Zhao, maybe like a Wukong, maybe like a Diana or something like that. But Vi does fit into the niche of like, I want to kill you and you specifically, which at the moment Twitch is their hyper carry, which as you said, it isn't a bit interesting that we're giving it a hyper carry role to our ADC sub, but just, obviously putting the faith into this person is going to be, we'll have to see how it plays out. I think the Yunara played fine. I want to see how this ADC. This is a really good chance for them to show what they can do. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see how they round out the drafts and if they're gonna pick any more carries top or not.
There's the one-trick bans coming out, right? You got the Yasuo, the Yorick, both one-tricks on the opposite sides. So good bands there. Now we just got to see, okay, what do you fill out these comps with? I may lose my mind if Surf and Turf picks an Olaf here. I would love an Olaf. Give me an Olaf, please.
Right.
Not very good into the Jarvan, but
Yeah.
I still think this would be one of my dream comps. The Vi, the Olaf. I think Olaf right now is the most broken champion in League of Legends on this patch. And the Ashe Seraphine just always feels annoying as heck to play against in the bot lane. Rylion, you should know that more than anybody. What do you guys think? What do you think about these ADC support combos with the range supports?
I mean, you saw me play the Ashe Seraphine literally yesterday.
Yep.
We did play it into a Mel, and it at the time it was just like I wasn't too worried about the Mel specifically compared to other champions for our like draft and just comfort picks and stuff like that. But the Mel definitely is a problem, and I am glad that we don't see that. I do like the Twitch Lulu though, and I think that is going to be a very deadly combo, especially in the later parts of the game. So it really depends. Ashe Seraphine, if they can get ahead early, utilize their poking comp as much as possible, and if I can get some early ganks down there and definitely get some dives going on, especially setting up with that Vex, then they might be able just to completely shut down this Twitch. Because what happens when a Twitch goes 0-5, right? He's just completely nullified, and anytime you see him at any
Nerf
point,
bullets at that point.
Exactly, right? Tat tat. I don't think so. But now that the ending of the draft has come, at least for the side of Shadow Isle, how do you feel about this roundabout or their overall comp now that the Cass and the Mundo have been locked?
Yeah. Okay, so from the Vex, I like the Vex pick. It's better
Nice.
as a dash counter, but it does supplemental dive with the Vi. I think there may be some other picks you could have picked in that position, but I think it's fine. I'm not a fan of the Cass. I think Cass, same thing. You like to pick it into mobile mages. Okay, we can talk about that Olaf in
They
just a
heard you.
second.
They heard you.
I want to talk about the Olaf in just a second. But rounding out the rest of Shadow Isle's draft, Cassiopeia is a little bit interesting. I feel like Vex is going to be able to deal with the Cassiopeia pretty well. Cass is better into shorter range like dash champions. Mundo is fantastic because at the moment with Ashe Seraphine Vi Vex, there's no one that can really do much to Mundo. Now, I was thinking that if Scylla didn't draft an Olaf and he drafted something like a Camille, I think that would have done way better, because then you have supplemental dive. I think Camille does do well into Mundo inside with the percent true damage. So I think I would have preferred to see something like that. I could be wrong. Top laners in the chat can let me know if this pick is Exodia or Camille. Mundo is ass. Let me know. But yeah, the Olaf pick. So Pancake, it's all you now. This Olaf pick, huh?
Well, yeah, that's why I don't like the Camille into the Mundo, because the stun gets nullified a lot of times, right? So, I think Mundo's actually in a really good position here. Shout out Hot Dog, who's in the chat. I know right now who's the Mundo one trick, who I've been playing with a decent amount lately. Mundo went ahead very strong, but you're not going to get ahead early game into an Olaf with the undertows, with the increases to some of the stats here in recent patches. If you get low at all, you are not getting away from the Olaf, right? This Mundo is used to having these slow from his cleaver. You're not going to have that with the ults. So, you better hope your Jarvan is top early and often if you're the Mundo to try to survive into this lane. And exactly what we talked about, Surf and Turf, she's on to something that can have urgency. I'm excited. Back-to-back days, we've seen a Vex too, which not something you see every day.
That is true.
Yeah, the side of Scylla, sorry to cut you off, Ronline. What I was gonna say is the side of Scylla, you could see their comp is very clear, like identity, right? You're gonna find one person and you're gonna be able to kill that person. And to be fair, I think they have two very good targets. Like Twitch and Cassiopeia both are immobile, both are. Yeah, I wouldn't say Cassiopeia is squishy, but I think they do have enough follow-up damage just for the entirety of Scylla to run them down. On the side of Shadow Isles, Jarvan is really good to actually find their own picks themselves. Ashe, Seraphine, Vex, all fairly immobile. So if Jarvan can find the engage, use the Twitch follow-up damage to kill them, that could be really good. I personally think that both drafts have, again, win cons, and I said the same thing last time, but maybe the game, it's going to come down to gameplay. So I don't know, Rylan, what do you think about that? I know I cut you off there.
Oh, no, you are completely fine. I was about to say, I was just like, well, you had mentioned it right then and there. The two immobile carries between that Cassiopeia and that Twitch, if they are just able just to repeat target focus, as you guys saw happen to Cad Sun yesterday, to our mid and our top laner. But yeah, if this Twitch and if this Cass just aren't able to even get their feet an inch off this ground, they're going to be practically useless, right? And J4, he's good early on, but he definitely falls off later on. Pretty hardcore, as does Nocturne, as does like those heavy champions that are, just early snowballing. You know what I mean? And Scylla, you guys pointed out, they just have this really good pick comp, and I think they have enough damage at least between the Ashe. Ashe is really good at taking out tanks. I think they kind of underestimate how well she does do. If you're building a Kraken Slayer instead of a Hex Optics, though, if you're getting the Phantom Dancer instead of like a Ruined Hurricane type build. So it's really going to depend on that. But all the marbles now. Is this going to be a 2-0 C22 Shadow Isles victory, or is Scylla going to even it up 1-1? What are you guys thinking?
I think Scylla, I want to give it to Scylla again. I think they might have expected things to go differently in game 1. I think they're going to, as Pancake said, now we have Surf and Turf on a carry top laner. Maybe that'll change things. Maybe that'll be the difference maker. And then also, if Scylla wins, we go into game 3. So always good.
Can we queue up the caster curse? Because I may be about to do one. Last game was an absolute stomp. This game will be an absolute stomp, but not by Shadow Isle. Scylla is going to get an early lead, and they are going to run it down. Sub 30-minute game. Yeah, I think Scylla. I think this draft is phenomenal. I love it, every aspect of it. God, this sounds like the start of a real bad caster curse, but I really do believe Scylla's going to take this one handedly.
We did the 3-0 caster vote last game, and I think we're getting another 3-0 caster vote again for Scylla. I love Ashe. They already won me over with just that pick right from the beginning. And again, all that lockdown that they have between that Seraphine, between that Vi, the high priority targets, you guys will have a bullseye right on your forehead. And, and that Olaf, I think, like you guys said, cherry on top, just able to run down, go to the back, do whatever he wants. He is very, very strong right now. And, with all that, though, it comes down to execution. Scylla, don't let us down. Get us to a game 3 into the Promised Lands. But we are going to cut it to a short little break, though, while we do get ready for everything. But do not go anywhere. Your boy Rylion, Chaos, and Pancake will be right back. Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It's your boy Ryline here, and I've got Chaos and Pancake bringing y'all the action in game number 2 of the Scuttle playoffs between C22 Shadow Isles and Scylla. Same sides as last time, C22 on blue, Scylla on red, and Pancake, go ahead and break down for us the players starting in the top lane.
Yeah, let's look at Dig My Own Grave, bringing the Mundo into the top lane. Mercenary on that Jarvan as we see Cassiopeia flash early. That's going to be down. Genova, speaking of Cassio, going to be wielding that in the mid lane. Belziak going to be on the Twitch. Zoidberg on the Lulu in the bot lane. What do you got
and then
on the red side?
Yeah, on the red side we got Scylla. We have Surf and Turf playing Olaf. We have Hurricane playing Vi jungle. Katsuragi 8th on that Vex, and then Bonaparte, and then Berry Metal playing the classic Ashe Seraphine in the bot lane.
Perfect. And I mean, look at that already. It looks like Surf and Turf is finding a little bit more comfort on this Olaf pick. Look at this. On to Dig My Own Grave. The Ghost did get popped. I think a little bit too prematurely there, you know, thinking, hey, I could probably get this level 1 kill, but damn, already a huge turnaround it looks like here for Scylla. But any runes or masteries that you guys are looking at here that pops out to you?
Yeah, off the bat, I mean, the Ghost Ignite is something to talk about, right? There's no TP, there's no flashes. He is really looking to win the lane with the Ignite. He's looking to run anybody else down on the side of Shadow Isles with that Ghost. That's one thing. I think the Halo Blade Spy may be something to talk about. I'm not sure if that is the ideal or rune or not, but it makes total sense. You're looking just to get in their face and then kind of like bop them. I think everything looks the same, nothing out of the ordinary. But yeah, that Olaf already is making some work. He's getting some work done on the top side.
Yeah, I don't know this Conquer on Cassiopeia. Usually I like taking that into a tank heavy side. You really don't have that. I don't classify Olaf as a full-on tank. It's not a bad one to take, but I don't know if I would call it ideal in this kind of situation. But that's the only one. Otherwise, pretty standard across the board. Yeah, should lead to an interesting one. We could see hopefully some urgency here on the side of Scylla, and you know, getting some early wave control, early leads in the CS numbers.
Yeah, one thing that's already interesting to call out is how the junglers are pathing, right? You know, last game we saw the Diego pathing top side. This time the Jarvan is pathing bot, but I feel like it, you know, maybe Arcana should be pathing top to allow the Olaf to be the win con. I feel like Ashe Seraphine is pretty self-sustaining, but because the Vi was able to path bot, utilize the Ashe Seraphine prior to get that early Scuttle, it's going to force Mercenary to get the top Scuttle and be down a little bit of tempo. So this first dragon is what I'm going to be looking on the second sequence, unless there is the ability for Harakane to punish Cassiopeia's flash. So we have another DC. Nope, they're back.
Spectrum difference already coming in, but Zoidberg cannot use that excuse. Looks like Belzak is back though, so Twitch is back in action. Spectrum customer myself, so don't worry. We're allowed to hate on each other. Dig My Own Grave, though, is currently digging their own grave. The Ignite comes through, and Surf and Turf, great job. I mean, she did a complete 180 in terms of the mental reset from last game to this game. I don't think had a single kill last time, maybe one kill towards the very end, but already getting first blood on to Olaf to kick it off here for Scylla. I'm liking this.
Yeah, really good pickup, and this is exactly what we expected to see. Like, shout out to Pancake for actually calling the Olaf super early. This matchup is borderline unplayable, and Olaf is good into the composition. So this early lead, I'm expecting to see Surf and Turf do something similar to what Dig My Own Grave did last game with the Warwick. Just get an early lead in the lane, snowball that lead into the rest of the game. That's kind of what I'm hoping to see. What do you think, Pancake?
Yeah, I think an interesting part of this, you know, this Olaf's ahead, right? One of two things is going to happen. You're either going to, as the Olaf, hey, let's have our jungler come up. Let's just try to snow this into oblivion, right? Tower dives, which can be difficult, but can be done. Those kind of things. Or you can say as the Olaf, hey, I can push him in nonstop. I'll get up 20 to 30 CS. And jungler, you can now focus on our bot lane and try to do the same thing with bot lane via jungle pressure. Right? Whereas Olaf is able to do this just in the 1v1. So two different, you know, style of thoughts. This is where you're going to see the differences between junglers. Me personally, I like to push the advantages. And then, you know, get that turret down top and then try to transition it into other parts of the map. but we see a little bit of the death push as you can tell the red side has a priority on dragons. They did this in game 1, and now they're doing it in game 2 right off the bat on spawn.
Yeah, Scylla should be able to get this first dragon pretty uncontested. Mercenary's a little bit far. Lulu looks like she's been caught up.
Good.
Oh, just about flash.
Yep.
So yeah, good that Lulu. Oh, that should be good here.
Doesn't have the
so yeah,
quality.
yeah. So Lulu, no flash is going to be really critical in case Harakani wants to dive with the Vi ultimate a little bit later. Dragon stacking really good for both teams. The scaling on both teams is very good. Their late game team fights 5v5 is going to be something to look at. But I do want to bring up something you mentioned, Pancake, is that Vi could look both sides. Vi technically has 2 winning side lanes. So maybe diving top when the Olaf Ignite comes out will improve the dive chances and get Olaf super ahead. I guess Grubs is something to talk about as well, right? Grubs is really good for both teams. Olaf is going to really like it too.
Good invade here by the Jarvan, right? Knowing the timings, knowing where Vi is going to be, getting some deep vision while he is there. The Olaf is going to check this. So there might have been a call there made by Vi. But the Seraphine and the Ashe, they're taking their lane advantage and they're moving into the enemy jungle. They're going to realize, oh crap, he's not there. He might be on my top side. Olaf needs to be careful here. A little susceptible to this gank.
Yep, Surf and Turf, though, getting some good trades in here before the J4 arrives. So now it's down to a 1v1, and Olaf, kind of similar to the work that we saw last game, has a lot more damage as the lower they get. Mercenary taking an axe and getting the hell out of dodge. Great job by Surf and Turf getting a second kill now. 100% of the kills on her in the top side. Killer moves here by Scylla.
It's a complete repeat, but also a complete flip of the game 1 where we saw the Warwick get a double kill in the 1v2, but this time the Olaf gets a single kill in the 1v2, not quite the double. I think if Dig My Own Grave waited just a little bit for Mercenary to get there with the Cataclysm, because it basically ended up being 2 1v1s. So if they were there together, maybe it would have been a little bit different, but as it stands now, the Olaf is super accelerated. You can see that now he already has a Phage and he has a Tunneler. He's going to be an absolute menace, especially for these upcoming Grubs, which if I was Scylla, I would be prioritizing them pretty hard right now.
Yeah, I think this is going to be huge for the Olaf, right? You get these for the Olaf, this Mundo's in trouble because he's going to be trying to hide under his turret. And if you have those Grubs, the turret might not be there for much longer. So Vi is in the top side. The Grubs are going to come up here right about now. Seraphine has roamed up. Yeah, this is going to be Grubs going towards the way of Scylla.
Yeah, Mercenary really needs to realize that he has to make a play right now. Diving that Ashe is going to be the best way to salvage this game state. You're going to lose Grubs. At least try to get a kill onto the Twitch as a cross map. Maybe if he tries to do a full clear, he won't have enough time. Maybe he will, but that's kind of what I'm looking for. Because if this kill doesn't happen, then this is just a really good macro sequence by Scylla to get 2 kills on the map, both onto your primary win con, getting both neutral objectives so far. Scylla's looking really good right now.
Yeah, there is a trade-off for the Vi, right? The Vi is going to be down about 10 CS, was down a level, down almost a full level. So there is some trade-offs. Mid lane going to be favored for Nova. But I actually think it's a little more even than it was last game in terms of CS. If we remember, there was a big...
Oh, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes through, and nice follow-up. The Halo Blades Vi, might be questionable to some. Has early success, compared to later, but great pickup. And that first other kill now being picked up there by Hurricane.
Yeah, a couple unfortunate series of events. I think Embellisek also DC'd at the time, and I think maybe they were in the middle of the fight, so they weren't able to pause. Lulu also not having a flash based on the previous fight, so the Enchanted Crystal Arrow was able to connect and get the kill. I guess my one comment on that whole play is that I don't mind the bot invade, but it has to be done quicker, right? You have to do it on the timer that Vi is going for Grubs, otherwise it's too late, and they're able to basically affect both sides of the map. They take top neutral and defend the bot camp, so overall, a little bit slow to the punch by Shadow Isles. Really good play by Scylla.
Oh, and
yeah,
Surf
I'm gonna
and
give the
Turf.
benefit of the doubt here that there was communication. Nice job on the Ashe, knowing who does not have flash, right? They were able to get it from Zoidberg earlier and punish it, and it was just about to come off cooldown. As you see right now, it's back up already. So, nice job. by the Ashe, picking her targets very well, which can be difficult sometimes, you know, and frustrating when all of a sudden it just seems like everyone's flashing your ultimate.
And now, because of that play, because of all the pride that they had, you know, Scylla's already set up really deep vision control on the side of Shadow Owl's bot side. Oh my god,
Whoa.
this play.
What was that? Flash for flash. Katsuragi, though, able to get away. Genoba, I think, getting a little bit desperate, a little bit frustrated with the pace of play currently for the side of C22 Shadow Isles. But flash for flash,
that's gonna be huge. Because 6 seconds on Dragon, right? Vex has to back. There's a window now here if you're the side of Shadow Isle to use. It doesn't look like they're gonna try to take it because the Jarvan also had to back. But trade of flashes kind of looks a little weird on paper, but if you were gonna turn it into a Drake, it would have made a little bit more sense.
Nice Enchanted Crystal Arrow's gonna land. Oh my god, so unfortunate here for Zoidberg, who has to use the ultimate as well, but J4 is gonna go ahead and dash into the middle of 3 members here on the side of Scylla. Good flash from Barry Mello. Has to get stuck in the middle of the Cataclysm of his own ultimate. Great 2-man ulti, though, landing by Genova in the middle of all of it. Is going to be taken down, though, here by, it looks like, Barry. And Bella Zach is going to get hit with an encore straight to the face. But the just amount of people, the numbers advantage that they had on the side of C22. Great job from them. A little bit sloppy and not very well executed on the side of Scylla. But no one's going for that Drake as everyone's way too low. And resets will happen. Damn, that was crazy.
That's a crazy fight, exactly, right? There's like so much going on. Like Scylla eventually, Scylla found the Enchanted Crystal Arrow onto the Lulu. Lulu is able to flash away. Jarvan's returning back into the fight. It's so back and forth, and the fight could have went either way. But at the end of the day, Shadow Owls does get a couple key kills that they need to bring the game a little bit more even, knowing that their top side is losing. But really importantly, the dragon isn't taken, so I'm expecting an entirely new fight that's going to happen in maybe the next 30 seconds. It looks like Vi's going to do their top side, so maybe not, but the dragon is still on the table. Looks like they're going for it right now, though.
Yep, Dragon's going to get started, like you said, by Shadow Isle, so they're going to even up the Drakes 1 for 1 here, and it's not going to be a Hex Tech Soul. What kind of soul do you think would be, like, the most beneficial? I'd like to see, I'm not going to lie, Cloud, but that was the first dragon here. Second best, Mountain.
I think Cloud Soul would be the best for Scylla. They have a lot of ults that they want to use to start the fight. Now, I think Mountain would probably be the best for Shadow Isles to protect from that engagement. Or maybe even Ocean Soul.
Ooh,
I think Scylla, the Mountain Soul is huge for them. Right? So they're a little on the squishier side.
Yeah.
Having that little extra field is going to be huge for them to get their, not just to stay alive, but to get their damage down, right? To go in, you know, for things like this Olaf, for things like this Vex, who are going to be diving in the backline, having that extra shielding could be the difference between them, you know, getting their damage down and not. So I like this dragon for them if they can get it.
Yeah, I think the Soul is going to be good for both players. We're still a bit of a ways away. I mean, either team is going to need 3 more Drakes, and there's going to be a lot of things that's going to decide the game up to that point. I guess we'll see. Yeah, I mean, the next neutral is going to be Herald. Again, same thing as last game. We had a Warwick last game. This time we have an Olaf. Both of these top laners like to split. They like to take objectives, so these top neutrals are going to be very valuable. I want to see both teams play for it, but it doesn't look like Twitch and Luther are going to be topside for it. To see if the Seraphine moves up. Nope, they canceled the reset. Okay.
Ooh, and a Hex Optics was actually first here from Ashe. Do you agree or disagree with this one in this regards? I think I personally would have rather have seen the Kraken. You know, because of the Mundo, the J4, you know, and I guess the Lulu ulti on top of anybody makes them a little bit quote-unquote tanky. But Hex Optics not terrible, but how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I think Hex Optics is good, has a good build path, and it's one of because it doesn't get you crit, which Ashe really likes. But I do agree. I think Kraken Slayer would have been good to maybe get through the Mundo a little bit more. I don't think I hate either side.
Right.
I think it just came down to like how they decided that they want, you know, how they decided what they were going to buy going into the game.
Yeah, and I don't mind it because I think this Mundo is going to be stuck at the sideline, right? Having to answer this Olaf
Oh,
Alright,
but,
this
yeah,
might not
I
be
mean,
a good trade for Olaf.
I was gonna say, answering is a
Oh.
good thing right now, right? For Dig,
Oh,
Hurricane, and Seraphine are coming up, though, for a 3-man dive. And, yeah,
dive.
Pancake, I think whatever you're about to say is gonna either go through because Surf, doesn't have to save health, regen, but does have lifesteal. And, kind of baiting out the Mundo here, who did already pop the ultimate, but they're not gonna go ahead and risk that tower dive. So, my apologies, my friend.
No, that's good call, right? Mundo had the ultimate, was able to heal back up as well. So, no dive opportunity there. It's always scary to dive someone like a Mundo, but you still get something from that pressure, right? You're transitioning it into the neutral objectives. And the enemy team setting up a
This
dive
is
in
a
the
bad
bot
spot.
lane.
Yes, indeed. They gave up the grubs, and hopefully they're able to get a kill. Bonaparte is going to get picked apart again. I love that setup, and Surf and Turf is engaging in the top side against Dig My Own Grave. Forces the flash. Genova's going to get 3-manned in the mid lane, and when one thing happens on one side of the map, something else must happen on the other. Genova's taken in the mid lane. We have Surf and Turf taken out on the top side. We have everybody falling. Tier 1s falling in the mid as well. Tier 1s in the bot
Herald.
lane is going to get taken
the
down.
Herald, too.
The Herald didn't even have to hit the tier 1, so it's going to get its first procced off actually on that tier 2. And now the game has been accelerated 16 minutes in, 5-5, and a 1k gold lead right now in favor of C22 Shadow Isles.
Oh, yeah, dude, there's some interesting things that happen. So Olaf just taking the trade, even if he doesn't kill the Mundo, is enough for them to secure the Herald. Good of Olaf to use the resources that are hovering him. And then also good on Mercenary to make that crossplay map on Ashe, right? That's the dive that I wanted to see on the Grubs timer, and they didn't find it, but they are able to get the Ashe kill now. And at this point, the turret, you could just take the entire turret. It's unfortunate. I think the play mid was just a follow-up play from the Herald, but then good play on Scylla to convert the Herald to take 4 plays off of that mid T2. Overall, I think Scylla got a lot more out of that. Kind of just funny that the Dig My Own Grave was able to get a solo kill on Surf there. Overall, I think Scylla is ahead, and I think for this next Drake, I think this is going to be a big turning point.
Yeah, and you're starting to see the items come through, right? So Vi is almost.
Oh, Cassiopeia.
Oh, Genova.
Oh yeah, you're dead.
Yeah. Oh, he did land a good, good ulti there, but the turnaround there, nice encore,
baited
yep,
his
and
teammate.
the Cataclysm is going to go ahead and land. Barry Mello has to flash out of it, and Mercenary, you got stuck inside your own ultimate. That was a prison built for you, by you, and that's going to be a 4-for-0 pickup with a triple kill in the bank for Hurricane. And Dig My Own Grave, are you going to get taken back down? We have ulti for ulti, Surf and Turf. Now he's starting to get a little bit tanky to deal with, my friend. Might need some grievous wounds in that itemization here shortly. And another cleaver is going to land, and Dig My Own Grave is going to be able to run down the Olaf, but that will be a second dragon picked up here. What a great 4-for-0 fight, and start of that fight. Sorry about that, Pancake, but damn, that was crazy. And a triple kill being picked up by Hera.
No need to be sorry. There was a Cassiopeia who was in no man's land and almost baited their teammates with the ult. You kind of should save that ult because it baited in the Lulu there, and then Ashe was able to free hit that entire fight on the top side of that fight, and get down all the damage they needed to win it. I think it was what 4-0, 3-0,
4-1 if you count the top side random.
4-1.
Solo, yeah. The Cassiopeia, I think maybe was a bad pathing decision. I didn't see how exactly played out, but caught in the river when the team isn't there. Yeah, really good play of Scylla to be like, yeah, this is a really good pick. Let's just burst this person, convert that into the second Drake. This is, I think, a pretty big turning point because now Scylla should be able to take whatever map control that they want, and their comp is really good in this mid game where they have long range ultimates. They have single target bursts, which they want to use to convert to some of the neutrals. Looks like they might be going for a top plate to try to get this top T2. Oh no, they're going for an invade.
Oh, Mercenary
Nice
gets
arrow.
picked off. Yes, a beautiful enchanted arrow there by Bonaparte, and this is the pick comp. This is the pick setup that you guys were just saying. They need to be looking for this, and they are looking. They are executing, and I am loving this because this is giving me Game 3 vibes, you guys.
Yeah, I want to see them do more of this. Like this, they're playing this comp really well. They're not doing what they did before in game one, where they were always split up or going one at a time. This game, they're very together on these plays. They're all like walking together as a team. They're finding the right target. Good pick. That's going to convert into a top T1. Mundo cannot save that by himself. The next play, they could convert into Baron on this next sequence. You have 3 Drins to the next Drake. Everyone on their team is so ahead. I want to see Vex in these plays more. I think Vex is really strong. Oh my god, they're starting the Baron. Okay.
They did this
Ash
last
has
time.
2 items.
Yeah. And the 2 best items, by the way, PD, I think, is just like it just catapults Ash into a new dimension when you get that item.
It's a 5v5.
And oh no,
Oh,
Barry
the
with the ultimate the wrong way, unfortunately, by Seraphine here, but that's okay. They have a really strong team, and Ash is getting picked apart, though. The Twitch is on the backside. Baron's really low. Doesn't get it, though. And who picked it up? I believe it was Red. Yes, Red side did go ahead and lock it down, but at the cost of 4 of their members here. And it was a 4-for-1 trade. Very, very shaky at the end, and thankfully they did end up getting it. And Vex is going to be the only recipient of this Baron, but damn. Right back it swings.
I think we might be seeing a bit of... I think this happens a lot, though, where teams think that they have more time to do an objective, but clearly that wasn't the case. Like, we killed a Jarvan, and then we had 15 seconds left before the Baron spawn, so at that point, Jarvan is literally going to be booking at the Baron. And Baron is like an extra team member, so they're technically fighting, what, 5v6? Maybe even 4v6, just knowing that, you know, they burned a lot of resources trying to getting the pick on the J4 earlier. So good play by Scylla to retake that control. They didn't get the Baron, but good play overall. Thank you. What do you think about that?
Yeah. See, there's too much indecisiveness there, right? Half the team turned for the fight, and Ash stayed on the Baron. You need to do one or the other, and that's a comms issue. They needed to turn and fight the moment, right? This is a 20-minute Baron. You either get it uncontested or you don't get it. It does too much damage at this point in the game to, you know, have half your team split, and it cost them. Cost them 4 deaths. They do to get the Baron, but it's only on deck, so they're probably not going to have too good of a Baron power play here.
Yeah, that's true. So then, okay, who do you think is up right now? Because like the gold lead looks even, the Drake looks even. Who do you think is like, you know, advantaged in this upcoming Drake fight?
Oh, okay. For this upcoming Drake fight in 47 seconds, it is still Scylla, right? But if you tell me who has the advantage in this game right now, like if I was putting channel points on it, I might say Shadow Isle because I like their comp late game, right? Their comp is just better late game. 40 minutes, I'm choosing Shadow Isle 10 out of 10 times, right? You're gonna see this Cassio get extremely strong. Twitch becomes an absolute menace, and this Mundo is going to become unkillable. Especially when you have all of a sudden, if the Mundo goes in and you're getting Lilia ulted, you feel like you're a god at that point. So you kind of are on a ticking time bomb if you're the side of Scylla, that you need to make sure you're pressing every single advantage you get on this side.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I do favor Shadow Isles' scaling a little bit more, and the fact that they were able to turn that play. If they got the Baron, I think it would have almost been game over. But they obviously Huracan had a really good smite towards the end, knowing that Mercenary was dead. So this Drake, they found something.
Oh no! Yep, Barry just by the hairs of her chinny chin chin, getting picked off, or not picked off, but knocked up. But still, you know, has the heals, has the shields, able to get the safety. And I mean, personally, I do still think this is definitely in favor of Scylla. The Vex is going to be very strong, and if all they have to do is just focus that Twitch or that Cassiopeia, and again, the damage just falls off heavily. And here we go, a Cataclysm with a nice encore setup, though. And then Belizak, look at that, it's just going to get focused down by the Vex with a double kill, picked up in the Lulu there, and another ulti is going to hit, and that's going to be a triple with the bag. Katsuragi, great job by her to go ahead and get that triple kill, 11-14 now with the 3k gold lead, and that gives them now a nice little bit of comfortable breathing room. And even though Ash isn't getting these kills, 0-4 and 10, look at that. You're still being very helpful.
Yeah, honestly, it looked like a great play from Mercenary initially to find Very Mellow and catch him out, but they didn't have enough damage. It was a really good error by Bonaparte to stop the follow-up damage from the Twitch, but then at that point, the 4 members of Scylla were able to rotate to the fight before 4 members of Shadow Wild. So they had the numbers advantage, they had really good target priority, really good ultimate by Katsuragi to find the Twitch to kill him and then get a bunch of resets to win the fight. That's 3rd Drake for Scylla now. They're in a really good spot to at least start playing the map a little bit more. Do you think that this is enough for them to maybe start closing out the game, or do you still think that, you know, Shadow Wilds will have the scaling advantage here, that they will be able to just slow the game down and win Pancake?
Yeah, I got a couple points on that. I do still think they have the, you know, and I talked about this a couple times, the 40-minute check. I still think if you get to 40 minutes and you're Shadow Isle, you're happy. I really do. But what I will say is, I think the MVP of this game so far is Barry Mello. Like, he has impacted the map so much, roaming with the jungle early, right? Taking over J4's jungle, and then these ults, besides the one, yes, we have an oopsie, but they've been huge and multi-person ults, right? This Vex is coming online. Funny thing to note, support has anti-heal. ADC, anti-heal. Mid lane has anti-heal. Jungle has anti-heal. The only one without anti-heal is the person that's going up against the guy who's healing a crap ton. So, little bit of a
Flash.
kind of rage itemization there. I don't know. It's I just find that funny.
Well, Olaf does have the Ignite kind of built in.
Yeah.
True.
Or, you know, doesn't need the anti-heal, but I see your point. Yeah, I mean, also I feel like Olaf might be trying to just run at the Twitch and kill him, so I think the anti-heal does benefit the people like Ash are gonna have to try to get to the Mundo. But I see your point. I mean, that Mundo is a huge problem. That I think the Conquer on Cassiopeia can also potentially be a problem. So yeah, definitely definitely a lot of anti-heal.
Yeah. We're going to be setting up Baron coming up in 1 minute and 12 seconds. So looking at the vision, there is a deep ward for the side of Scylla that is now just going to expire right now. So all you have in the top side is going to be that control ward in the Pixel Brush, and then a defensive control ward on your blue buff if you're the side of Shadow Isle. So we'll see how they can advance these vision battles back and forth, and see who's able to get position for this fight.
I kind of want to see a little bit more control being put topside for this upcoming Baron in 36. I think that's going to be the more pressing neutral. We see both of the Division being pretty defensive in their own jungles. Looks like there was a fight of Bruin in the mid lane, but it looks like it didn't happen. I feel like if they're able to catch Twitch on these mid waves, like if we have Asholt going down mid, if we have Vexalt going down mid, right? They have no T1, they have no T2, and Twitch is catching these mid waves pretty high. If they're able to kill the Twitch, I think Scylla is able to win these fights.
Oh, yep,
Looking a little
Zoidberg
scary.
creeping forward. Doesn't even know that they're getting caught out. Nice wind up by the Vibe, but the flash comes through, and they are able to escape. That's going to give them a numbers advantage for at least a couple seconds, unless they do try to stick around, because if they reset, that's going to be a bye-bye Baron, and a Scylla victory, probably leading to a Game 3, which they do not want to happen on the side of Shadow Isles. But with no vision and no kind of pressure at all, I think that they could possibly start the Baron, but they do want to keep on trying to bait them out. They know that there is nothing that they can do, and the J4 steps up, a Cataclysm comes through, the Encore's gonna stop that right in its tracks, and an Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and Zonya's, what are you doing? You're delaying the inevitable, that's what, and a double kill picked up by Hurricane, and I think that is a free Baron. And Melzak, unfortunately, getting Spectrum diffed, and with the Mundo just pushing freely in the bot side, they're going to go ahead and get this Baron reset. And I think they have the means to end this within the next couple of minutes here, guys.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the Lulu got caught out and had to burn Flash. It wasn't the end of the world, but that's definitely why, as a sport, you need to make sure that you have your team hovering you for vision. As Pancake said, really good job of Very Mellow to get good vision control to allow these picks. And all of the Seraphine E's, I don't know what the ability is called. These Seraphine E's are super huge. Was able to get the Lulu, was able to get the J4, gets a kill. Enchanted Crystal Era, as you said, was able to get an extra kill into the Cassiopeia. That Baron is going to wreak havoc on this next upcoming sequence.
Oof.
For your information, it's beat drop.
Beat drop.
Beat drop. Feels like a Sona ability, but you know.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Both musical supports.
Danger afoot as it's a soul point for the side of Scylla. So you might need to draw a line in the sand if you're the side of Shadow Isle here and just say, YOLO, here we go.
Uh-oh, and YOLO
Stuff like
indeed
that.
being yelled out by Mercenary, and Olaf's going to go ahead and turn around immediately. The Cataclysm onto the backline, but he is alone and gets blown up instantly. Mercenary, the first death on the side of Shadow Isles. Will the rest of his team follow up? And it looks like they're doing some great poking. Genova, with his Conqueror, is getting some serious damage there with his E. Surf and Turf is trying to provide any support that he can. They do have the Baron, and like you said, this is oh my god, a nice encore, and explodes immediately, followed up by Vex. Wow, and Barry Mello is going to go ahead and send Mundo to his own grave, and that will be a soul secured, a mountain soul secured with Baron. They should look to move the Baron power play right down mid after this. And no, they're going to reset, but damn, they are pretty dominant right now, guys. Like, this is their game to lose at this point.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight that developed. It looked like Mercenary found Surf and Turf caught out, but after Surf and Turf just popped the Ragnarok, Mercenary ended up just going for a Flash Cataclysm on the rest of Scylla. But unfortunately, there wasn't enough fallout damage, so Mercenary just drops, and they weren't able to kill Surf and Turf either. So they ended up just kind of losing the fight, and they also burned a lot of resources at the start. So good team fighting by Scylla, good zone control by Olaf, and then also fantastic encore by Barry Mello to knock out the Twitch. That gets him solo, as you said. That's going to turn, hopefully, into just like one more 5v5 for side of Scylla to close out the game.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it again. I said it not 5 minutes ago, but Barry Mello, MVP of this game. Holy Hannah. Ryline, you gotta be able to appreciate a good support when you see one. This is some unbelievable support play.
Oh, hands down. The Ash Seraphine combo, impeccable, my friend. Impeccable. And not having a Mel to deflect it. And a nice Vex ulti onto the back line there. But wait, a little bit of division on the side of Scylla. They don't want to get too spread apart because they do still have some good damage output on the side of Shadow Isles. And with Baron only up for just a little bit longer, they are going to go ahead and continue sieging down this tier 2 in the bot lane. And Mercenary, along with Dig My Own Grave, there are 3 members available to defend it. As Embelazak was taken out for the next 20 seconds here. And a lot of damage going onto the tank. Zoidberg trying to support as much as possible. The Baron has run out officially here, and with Olaf pushing in the mid lane, they have to fight on multiple fronts now. They are fighting to their strengths. I'm loving the setup and the positioning right now coming in from Scylla in this game too. I could not be a bigger component and advocate, again, for the mental reset, and this is like a perfect example of from game 1 being dominated to game 2 dominating. Like, I love this.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, game 1 was really tough, and they were able to bounce back, fix their flaws, and this game looks really decisive. Maybe a couple plays could have been done differently, but like overall, very commanding lead. A bit of a greedy pathing by Belzak to try to get to the bot lane to defend the turret. But you don't have vision in your jungle, so a good pick by Scylla to catch out the Twitch. Weren't able to convert too much off of that, but you take your resets, you get some more items, and you're going to play Baron on this next sequence. We'll see how that goes. Oh, just some top brawling.
Yeah, you could just talk over. Oh, never mind. I mean, Hurricanes.
No, we can't.
Never mind. Olaf's actually kind of, getting worked on a little bit, but now we have more members coming into the top side here. Mercenary and a teleport coming through. Surf and Turf has no ulti. Is stuck now in the Cataclysm. Great job from Vi to go ahead and try to provide any more support that they possibly can. And the rest of the crew finally shows up. Scylla, and the numbers are all in their favor. Look at this disaster now unfold for the side of Shadow Isles. And Belizak. Oh no, you showed up a lot too late, or a little too late, however you want to call it. Flash is coming out, but I don't think it's going to matter as the slows come through when a double kill comes out. Bonaparte and the rest of Scylla are here, and they are ready to end this game. And poor little Zoidberg, he is like trying to defend this tier 2, but no, you got to give that up. And they don't have anything open just yet, so I don't know if they can complete the game as of right now, but they are wanting to open up through this tier 3 in the top side here. And Zoidberg, again, just trying to poke with a little Lulu doing what she can. And oh no, there goes the root, and down goes the inhib. I think that they are going to just take that and run away with it. And that goal lead now almost 10, or actually it is 10k in favor of Scylla. And timers are up. We have 30 seconds on Baron, 2 minutes on Elder. Do we even get an Elder, do you think? Or do you think that might be a little bit pushing it?
I think they should do Elder just to be safe. Yeah. I think the next sequence is going to be Scylla takes Baron, and they use the Baron to get some pushes in side lanes, get a couple picks, and then just play the Elder. But to that point, Shadow Isles, if they're able to flip on this Elder and able to get the smite, they have a chance of winning the game. I just think Scylla has been doing a really good job of grouping together as a team and finding plays together, which is, I think, what Shadow Isles was doing in game 1, and how also like Scylla was winning in the early games. I think whoever can group up first and find the place first is going to win.
Big item breakpoints here. Death cap completed for this Vex. Also, weird item, Force of Nature coming through for the Ashe. Even though all there is this Cassiopeia, obviously that is what Bonaparte is afraid of. But huge item for this Vex, getting all that AP that is Rabadon's Death Cap.
Yeah, I mean, the Fawn is...
Sorry, go ahead.
Actually, yeah, Witness would have been really cool to see on Ashe for sure. I think Fawn is a little... I agree with you, it's a little bit weird. IE, I think you should be going for as an Ashe. You don't really have to worry about their team diving onto you to try to protect yourself. The IE damage and slow would be massive. I agree with you. A bit weird there, but Scylla is able to just like hold off this control. Should be good enough to just start the Baron. I mean, Mundo has to answer the side wave, so that should be a free Baron for Scylla. That should be a convert into Elder after this Baron.
Double super buffs.
And looking after my game yesterday, Shield Bow also would be pretty good for Ashe. The crit with the slows is great, and of course the shield that it gets as well. The Enchanted Arrow kind of going a little bit wide there, but the Cease and Desist is going to find its way, as it always does with the point-and-click ulti. Can never go wrong, and with the Jungler being taken out of commission, Katsuragi is going to go ahead and engage with their ultimate. The Elder is up, though, but I think Baron might be just enough what they need. Oh. Beautiful Encore, point blank, and Genova, I mean, was a nice ulti, does find 3 people to connect with, but... that is, again, Scylla, a force to be reckoned with in game number 2 here. And they are going to go ahead and take that tier 3. And with supers coming in from top and now from mid, they are going to go ahead and turn their attention to the last 2 remaining towers. And we are going to get our wish. No more Caster Curse for us in game number 2. Nope. We were on point. And we get a game 3. Beautiful ending there for Scylla over C22 Shadow Isles.
That was a fantastic game by Scylla. There was a couple mishaps, but for the most part, the gameplay was really solid, really good macro, really good vision control. As you mentioned, Pancake, I think Very Mellow did a fantastic job of getting vision to set up these plays. I think the thing that they did overall better as a team, though, is they just grouped earlier, and they were there for the fights earlier, so no matter who engages, they have the upper hand. So, and that's also... I think how Shadow Isles was able to get in game 1, was able to get ahead in game 1. So I want to see in game 3 that both teams are very, I guess, like aggressive towards these objectives, and they want to group up and fight these crazy 5v5s where everything is going to happen.
Yeah, you know, a great game. I will say the Olaf wasn't as dominant as I thought it could have been. But Mundo is the great equalizer with just saying, hey, I'm beefy. I'm not going to do much else, but I'm beefy. You know, Vex played amazing, was able to hit those ultimates, get into the right targets. And then the bot lane, you know, had priority. That was a jungler's dream, right? 3 winning lanes. You pretty much can go anywhere and do no wrong. So, very well played. But you know what? Game 1 doesn't matter. Game 2 doesn't matter because it's all about game 3, baby. Here we go.
Absolutely. I love game threes because, like you said, game 1 and 2s don't matter. It puts so much pressure, though, on the winners of game number 1 because it's like, I want a 2-0 so badly, and then that pressure gets lifted when you win this game number 2. Like, Scylla, I mean, you guys are players and casters. You've been there. You know exactly what it's like. And I'm so hyped. I'm so excited. What a banger start. And, like, Chaos, you are now 3 for 3 on all your casts going to a game 3 series, my
They're
friend.
all
So,
game 3s.
if you guys either want game 3s or game 5s, we got to get this man on these casts, I'm saying.
Yeah.
But we are going to go ahead and cut it to a short little intermission, though, while we get ready for game number 3. So do not worry. Your boys Rylion, Chaos, and Pancake will be back in just a little bit.
Bye.
Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. It's your boy Rylion here with Pancake and Chaos, and we'll just be going into the draft here for game number 3. Again, for all the marbles for this first round in the playoffs for Scuttle Division. C22 Shadow Isles and Scylla. Same sides again, my dude. Scylla on red, Shadow Isles on blue. evened up across the board. Like, he was so dominating for game number 1 for Shadow Isles, but then Scylla turned right around in game number 2 and said, not today, and backhanded them straight into a game 3 series. I mean, dude, like, what is your, like, opinion on the series overall? How are you feeling coming into this third one?
Well, what I love is a team like Scylla gets punched in the mouth in game 1, get up, dust themselves off, let's go. We're going to punch them back in the mouth. Now it's Shadow Isle's turn. Hey, you just got knocked in the teeth right there. That was a dominating performance. How do you react, right? How are you going to come back to this? And we're already seeing these similar bans from the side of Scylla. Champion pools start to get restricted, right? People are going to have to get pushed further and further down their lists. And so we'll see what these teams prioritize. You know, we still have some stuff like the Nocturne out there, I think is really strong at this point, as I think that's a deviation. The Jinx is open. The Jinx is going to be opened. And I have a feeling Scylla is going to first pick it because they are not going to give it over to the side of Shadow Isle, whose stand-in is a Jinx one-trick, kind of. So this will be a Jinx first pick. Yep.
Yep, you nailed right on the head there. Scylla first pick Jinx. And now I think this 3-ban, kind of handicap that they had on the side of C22 Shadow Isle is starting to catch up to them a little bit.
Yep.
You know, it's like game number 1, we lost 4 bans. You know, game number 2, we lost 3. And now they're getting their comfort. And now they're able to pick away our comfort in our last game. And we get second pick. So we definitely didn't get to secure that. Ooh, like it's just right now, they're the ones that are having to climb this mountain to get the victory overall over Scylla here. And Jinx is a great hyper carry. And to answer that with the Draven, holy crap, I haven't seen Draven in a hot minute. In solo duo competitive, I don't think I've ever seen him in competitive, to be honest.
Yeah, and see, that's the one thing, though. If you're a Jinx main playing against a Jinx, you know what to play against your main, right? Because you been on the receiving end of probably a lot of these. And so, we're going to get the Yorick. This is a one-trick warning here. We're going to see some split push in game 3. This York is wielded quite often by Dig My Own Grave. Obviously, it's almost in the name. I don't know if that name is meant for the York, but as we're going to see the Nautilus rounding out a very powerful bot lane. The Jinx Nautilus, always scary if you step out of line at all in that bot lane.
Absolutely. No, definitely scary, especially when you have your comfort picks in hand. And I think prioritizing that in game number 3 is going to be something that Shadow Isles should kind of stick with. And, picking the York, because it got banned out in the second round every single time.
I'm going to interrupt you here. This could be a random Yasuo. Yep.
It is.
Bingo. Okay, this is going to be a Yasuo, and if they are not careful, Shadow Isle, if you want to be 5-head, you need to ban Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser will be first picked by Scylla. They will guarantee pick Mordekaiser top here if you do not ban it out. So you better ban it out, because in your first series, Surf and Turf, she played that to perfection.
Yep.
Wukong coming through, another strong jungler, but if you do not ban out this Mordekaiser, you're in trouble. Please.
Oh man, wait. Okay, so the Wukong, the York, and the Draven, that's a really good setup. The Jinx, the Nautilus, and the Yasuo, also a really good setup. Do you think they need more frontline on the side of Scylla to combine with, or should they just double down on damage at this point for the mid and the jungle here?
Well, you need AP. I wouldn't be surprised. I would even like to see maybe like a and now, of course, I'm blanking on the name. Let me go.
Oh, I'm sorry, the top
right
and jungle.
here.
It's Yasuo mid.
Sejuani. Yeah, I know. Sejuani in the jungle.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that from Scylla. I couldn't think of the name. As we're seeing some.
Oh, that is
Mord
a
is
Mord. That is a Mord ban, I think.
Oh, that's a Mord ban.
Yep.
Okay.
Mord
I knew
ban
that's
on
what
this.
they were going to take. So Mord ban and the Mbessa ban. That were the 2 champions that the Surf and Turf popped off on in their last series. Good bans. Where is your AP damage going to come from? Right? Is it going to come from the jungle? So I'm gonna take a peek here. Actually, if you give me a quick second at some champions.
We saw Zyra jungle in our game the other day. Yesterday. That soloed Baron, by the way, at 20 minutes when it spawned. So huge shout out to you,
And I
Brackern.
missed it.
Yeah, everyone missed it. The directed camera missed it.
So Diana could be a pick that could come through here from the side of Scylla. But what are we going to see from Shadow Isle? Did they have another late pick?
Let's find out, actually. I was like, do they
No,
have
no.
Echo maybe that they can pull out?
The Renata coming in.
Renata with the Draven. I like that it's a pretty good counter into the hyper carry that is Jinx. So later in the game, if she is popping off, one good Renata ulti is going to clear your own team.
Yep.
So got to be mindful of that.
But in the early game, you want to get this Draven to cash in. So those handshakes need to be on point to get some CC down into this Jinx Nautilus. And we're going to see the Diana that I talked about earlier. It's going to come through. There's your AP. So now there's a lot of things open up. You can go tank here. You can go still damage. You can go AP, AD. You kind of have a plethora of things open to you. God, I don't know what you go here. I don't want to see a tank. We saw that in game 1.
Yep.
Oh my.
Oh, Kale. Oh my god. If she pulls that out, she's gonna pull. She's committed. Hyperscale, Kale, and Jinx. We saw this in the we saw this in the spring split. Down 12,000 gold, by the way, right? Jinx and Kale against all 3 waves pushed in. One ulti from Kale, which saved Jinx, allowed the turnaround, the clean, the 45-second death timers, the ace, and that was the end. That was the final game, last game in I believe it was the spring split, this exact setup between the Kale and the Jinx. It was crazy.
You need to pick something with urgency here. And we're going to go with the Anivia. Okay.
Interesting.
So it's going to be this Yorick is going to push his little heart out until this Kale gets up and going. It's a tough lane for Kale. It really is. This is a handshake. Kale is going to give him the entire world pre-6. And then finally, you might be able to start doing some things with the range. But how far ahead can York get in this early game is going to be a big question.
Oh, yeah. How much focus does Diana need to have in the top side to just suppress that Yorick? And I think it's going to be a lot. You want Kale to hit level 16 as soon as possible. And I just think repeated ganks are probably going to be the answers to Kale's prayers, especially in the beginning parts of this game here. So,
but this is somebody who in the late game can match the Yorick split push, right?
True.
The amount of wave clear that you get post 16 here, this Yorick isn't just going to be like, hey, I'm level 16. Anybody you send in the side waves is going to get, destroyed. That's not what this is going to be, right? This Kale can put down some damage, can wave clear with the best of them. So I really sense this is going to be a very late game. The first 2 games, very quick. You're going to see this Anivia scaling up. You're going to see this Yorick farming in the side lane. The real lane that could go either way is going to be this bot lane, right? How far ahead can the Draven get? Can the Jinx Nautilus hit the hooks, hit the traps? Only time will tell. So we're going to have to find it.
Absolutely. And I believe our lovely second analytical caster, third team member here is back, and he is taking a gander. Let's give him a couple moments to take a gander over this final draft before he makes his final decision, of course, because I kind of want to hear a little bit from him and how he feels about this draft here.
Yeah, I was watching through the draft while I was letting my dog relieve himself. The Jinx B one I also expected, with them taking first side and them C22 like losing their bans because it's steal from their ADC sub. The Draven I also expected as a response, because just looking at their OPGG, they play a lot of Draven. I guess I should have expected the Yorick given his name, as Pancake mentioned, he's the one trick. Yeah, rounding out the draft, Nautilus is pretty good, especially since Braum is banned. Yasuo is a really interesting pickup blind, so good call on Pancake to just, hit the nail on the head there. Wukong totally fine. Renata's really cool, good answer into Nautilus, good pick into Jinx. Yasuo good with Draven, I really like that pick. rounding out the draft with Diana Kale gets some extra knockup potential for the Yasuo, but also setup potential for a Jinx reset, and then Kale scaling is also really good. Now, the one thing I'd be considering is who can win side lane from this draft. In the game 2 draft, you had 2 winning side lanes on the side of Scylla, but this time I guess you don't have any winning lanes. So how is Diana going to be able to play that matchup? Will be kind of tough. But yeah, scaling 100% Scylla is like, I would say, favored, and they have lots of ways to win fights. And Nivea is just also really good for these kind of like controlled fights and to try to allow Draven to snowball. Again, I think both drafts are really good. I think I've given Scylla the upper hand in every single draft, and I've only been 50% right. I think I'm going to do the same thing here. I guess we'll see. I mean, what do you guys think?
You know what? I'm flipping. I've gone Scylla
Really?
both games. I think this York is going to be too big of a problem. I think the Kale, I mean, York is going to dumpster this Kale. And this is nothing against you, Surf and Turf. I hope you know that. This is why the heck, like, it's almost like waving the white flag. Like, you understand you're going to get kind of dumpstered in lane by this York no matter what you pick. So you're like, okay, if I'm going to get beat no matter what, might as well pick the biggest late game scaler I can and be the insurance policy for my team. But I fear that it might just be too much. And this is going to be a big decision for Wukong. What do? Do you let the York win by himself, or do you go and push the advantage? That's something to look out for early on in this game.
Absolutely. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts, and it's going to be up to these players to decide their fates in this final game. Of course, all of the marbles relies on this last one here. So spend your guys' channel points as well. And who's going to win game 3, C22 Shadow Isle or Scylla, to move forward to round number 2 in the upper division or the losers brackets? Both teams still have their way of making it to the grand finals here. So I also do want to kind of give a couple shout outs as well to the constant support that we get on the stream. So there's a couple follows, there's a couple subs that have come through. I just want to make sure that you guys are getting the recognition that you guys deserve. We have Funny Piano yesterday with the Prime sub. Thank you so very much. Jesto95 for the follow here today. We have Luna Cino VT. Thank you so much for that follow. The Dirty Bubble, you dirty dog. Thank you very much for the follow. We have It's a Hot Dog. We got dogs all over the place over here. With the follow earlier, Nemo with that tier 1 sub. That was actually a gift to somebody on the stream. So thank you very much. It was actually, it looks like here to... Hold up. I'll figure it out later. Who cares? And then we have... Boy, thank you very much for your follow. Appreciate you. And a huge shout out to Taywiz, a 55 watching streak for us. That is ginormous, Taywiz. That is incredible. Thank you so much. I've never even seen that before. So I think you might be one of the first to do so. So thank you very much for that. Then we have Pancake with a tier 1 sub to Hot Dog. So Pancake, huge shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for your support in more ways than just casting. That's this lovely, sexy gentleman we have right over here to my left, by the way. And Sunshine Blue, thank you for the follow, of course. And just recently, we had Cynical. It looks like Cynical Poison. Thank you for your follow. But we are going to go ahead and cut it to a short little intermission while we get ready for the in-game number 3 of this lovely series between C22 Shadow Isle and Scylla. Do not go anywhere, you boys. Rylion, Chaos, and that sexy gentleman Pancake will be right back.
See you soon.
Alrighty, welcome back, all of you wonderful, wonderful people. Like I said, a short little intermission while we get ready for it. Game number 3 here, and all the action. Again, on blue side, we have C22 Shadow Isles. On red, we have Scylla and my boy Pancake. Who do we got in the top side, and what champions are we working with?
Yeah, dig my own grave. Finally got the one trick. He's going to be taking the Yor Mercenary on the Wukong. Genova going to be wielding the Anivia. And then in the bot lane, you have the Renata and the Draven to round out the comp chaos. What do we got on the red side?
All right, so as game 1 and game 2, we have Surf and Turf in the top lane. Oh my god, there's already an all-in happening.
Oh, yes, there is. The E's coming through from Surf and Turf. Can they get one more auto? No! It was the Ignite difference. And the press the attack versus the lethal tempo. I was going to ask about that a little bit later on, but a very, very close one. And already first blood picked up at 1 minute here by Dig My Own Grave.
Yes, like I said, I'll go through.
Yeah, go through them.
I was gonna go through the players. Yeah, so Surf and Turf and Kale playing Kale in the top lane. We have Hurricane playing Diana in the jungle, Katsuragi with the Yasuo, and then Bonaparte, Barry Metal playing Jinx Nautilus in that bot lane.
Yeah, we saw early and often fighting. That's a tough one. A little troll even by Surf and Turf, knowing that the Orc has the Ignite. I get Kale in that kind of a fight is still strong, as Draven's on the other side of the lane.
Yes, he is, and that's a exhaust that's being just used early. And Bonaparte with the Jinx and the Excited and the lethal tempo definitely in their favor. Oh my god, they are just fighting all the way around in every single lane. And the barrier's also coming through from both in Battlezak and Bonaparte. Damn, 1-1 now.
Yeah, interesting choice. Yorick goes with the Cull early, right? So I think has a feeling that this Kale is just going to sit under turret and he's not going to have the kill pressure that he's going to want. So picks up that Cull, going to go for the scaling that brings, a little extra gold. And in the bot side, the Draven, I don't know what that was. I think just thinking he's stronger than he is, that's still a Nautilus. Nautilus early on with the auto attack stun is very, very strong. So kind of overstep, gets killed, but not the end of the world there for that Draven.
Yeah, that fight was a little bit odd because Jinx Nautilus hit 2 before Draven Renata, which I guess I can see both sides happening since you're double range, but you're fighting against a Jinx. But also, it's a little bit weird, I guess. I agree that for Belzak to take that trade. Zoidberg also did not exhaust in that all-in, while Barry Mello did, so a couple summoner advantages there. I see Flash being burned top side from the Kale, so a little bit weird for that bot 2v2. Looks like another fight, though?
Oh, yeah, Barry Mello with a nice hook is going to land, but like you had mentioned, Wukong is in the bot lane, but it's a 3v3 as Hurricane is going to follow up as well to answer. And yeah, I think that was a good answer and response with the very sneaky roam coming through from Katsuragi there. And they have to be mindful, be careful. They do catch him out, though. Forces the flash from Mercenary Max. So, yeah, flash is kind of being used all over the place now. And, yeah, good resets happening across the map. Oh, wait, another flash being used. Yep, Draven has to flash as well. Barry Mello didn't have the Q ready, so he was just, his presence was enough to go ahead and cause that. Great job.
Holy crap, Ryline. Game 1 and Game 2, there seemed to be a little nerves. Everyone was playing safe. Not in Game 3. They are ready to go early and often. We're seeing flashes used. We're seeing stat checks. Top and bot lane. Junglers getting involved. This is going to be an awesome, awesome Game 3 if it continues to go like this.
Yeah, honestly, I would not expect that out of this game in Game 3. I was expecting him to take it slow. Oh my god, there's a whole fight happening as well.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on? Katsuragi, the Yasuo, like you said, stat check, and we're fighting. This is for everything. The flash forward gets the egg. I like him scrambled, but I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because I know Wukong is right above me. So I like the patience. I like the awareness happening from Katsuragi there. So passive down, and now we can just go ahead and wait patiently for another kill.
Yeah, in that top lane, this York does have to be a little careful using that cage because it does drain your mana early, right? As you can see, he's low on mana. Not going to be able to have as much kill pressure. As I say that, those minions are going to hurt.
God.
You know, it's funny. I don't expect I don't know much about top lane. I'm an ADC main myself, so I'm thinking about the bot lane, and I'm thinking like if I'm Draven, actually you don't want to all in early because you kind of want to stack up. Like you want to play early waves, you want to play early lane through like wave management. You want to take better resets, you want to take better trades, and then you're waiting for that one kill that creates like a huge cash out. So honestly, Draven losing that level 1 early isn't the worst. Maybe. Oh my god, there's an Honest Road mid now. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, good wall though. Holding on with just barely any mana. At least had that up, but whew, almost bad.
Yeah, we do have the jungle in the bottom, the Diana. Looks like they're going to try to get Dragon Prio again. This has been their bread and butter, both in game 1 and 2. They did get the first Dragon right around spawn. They're prepping for it, but I don't know if they're okay, they are starting it. Okay, and this Yasuo is going to come down to secure it, as the Anivia is in the mid lane, so won't be able to push that out very quickly.
Yeah, so one thing to mention is that Diana did skip her bot side to do this Drake, which is honestly a good adaptation knowing that their mid and bot have prio on this turn. If Diana waited for the whole bot sequence, then they might not have had prio. So good of Diana to do that. Wukong is has a little bit of a higher tempo, so he could go for his top side, go blue, and then go for a top gank level 6 or mid or something like that. But yeah, as you mentioned, Scylla doing a good job to get the early Drakes in pretty much every single game. I think at least I think that they have better scaling, and I think I'm giving it to Scylla. So so far the scaling is pretty good. So.
Yeah, you know, and there's a lot of combo with this Yasuo, right? The Diana pull in the Nautilus ult. So there's gonna be a plethora of targets for him in this mid to late game to choose from for his ultimate. But you got to get through lane. The good thing is he's not just getting through lane; he's applying pressure. As we see him take a losing trade there early in mid lane. But yeah, he should have good enough setup to where he's going to be able to impact the game quite easily.
Can I ask you guys a preference question? My apologies.
Yeah,
hold on 1 second. Mercenary, they're going to make me hold on to my question for just a moment. They do have the level advantage over Hera and the double Cyclone getting procced and forcing the flash. But quick preference question here. All 3 games played on the exact same side. As a player, do you like that, or do you like to switch sides and kind of mix it up a little bit? And while we do that, we do see a ulti being used by Kale, but yeah, that was my question. Sorry, I was just kidding.
Okay, I love this question because I have an answer that the people who are analytical are going to hate, but I think there is a feel to being on the same side that it just feels good, right? You don't have to change anything mentally in your brain of, you know, if you're playing the bot lane, where the bushes are, where's the walls, those kind of things. You know, you're looking always, if you're on the blue side, you're always looking right at the enemy instead of looking left at the enemy. I know it's all mental response. It's a mental kind of game to me. But I still think little things like that can matter.
Understandable, and Barry almost getting taken out though, and Hera actually just risking his life instead. Great wall there set up by Genova. Flashes forward. The wind wall though coming in from Kalasaragi is going to go ahead and stop the onslaught that almost commenced, but still able to get that Hurricane pick off, which means a Grubs pick up here from the side of C22. But how about you, Chaos? Like, same sides, all 3 games. Do you like the repetition? Do you like the mix-up? What's your opinion on that one?
Yeah, it is a pretty good question. So for what I'll say is there is a tangible benefit to picking a specific side, besides kind of just vibes. I think a lot of people like blue side because people play on blue side a lot. I think like tutorials do blue side. At least for me, I think blue side's a little bit easier. But red side has the advantage that you are able to play Drakes easier because it's easier to exit a Drake fight to your red side turret than it is to a blue side turret. And the converse is the same for top side. If you're playing Baron, it's easier to exit a Baron play to your top side blue turret than your top side red turret just because of the terrain. So there is some actual differences to consider. I guess I do want to make a mention of the plays that we just saw topside. Wukong did a really good job of invading the top Raptors to get level 6 to punish Diana for the red take. I smirked because both of the ADCs are just like having fun bot. We see both of their globals just like tickle everybody topside. So that one was kind of funny. But yeah, so that's what I'll say. I think sides do have benefits. And there's no
Oh.
fight again.
Yes,
Good
sir,
fight.
indeed. Yeah, good fights happening
Oh,
both
shit,
top
though.
and in bot side here. Zoidberg taking a Super Mega Death Rocket to the face. Janoba with the ulti. Oh, good Ronaldo ulti, but I don't think it's going to matter just yet. The damage isn't quite there, but we have now 4 members coming in from Shadow
he's in
Isles, and
cash.
Surf and Turf not able to hold their own in the 1v1 on the top side either. Has to flash out of that, so across the map, both in favor of C22. Shadow Isles, the ulti has to come through because the
God.
Maiden focus onto Kale underneath tower. That is the luxury of the Maiden. I love York in the top side, I cannot lie. And dig my own grave is not going to go ahead and get a couple plates. Diana looking to maybe go ahead and get a counter. Try to get a kill. Or maybe just get Maiden, and I don't actually even think that's going to happen. Damn, but right now, I'm liking C22. Shadow Isles, they had the mental reset coming into this one, and just early game going pretty well.
Yeah, that was huge for the Draven. He just had popped over 150 total stacks. He's going to cash in, gets the Bloodthirster on that back. That is huge. You're going to have a lot of sustain coming through on this Draven. As oh, you wish that hook didn't land if you were the Nautilus.
Yes, and sometimes it's like Lee Sin, you know? It's like if you hit a Q, it's like I'm taking it, but
One-way
Nautilus, you don't, Nautilus, you don't get a say in that one. And oh, we have ADC mono, and with these Qs landing and being caught by Embelzak, but hold on 1 second. The attack speed coming through. And with the Hex Optics, you know, pretty good damage.
Yeah, you still got to respect the damage of the Jinx, even though the Draven has the BT, right? You're going to have more of the sustain. As level 9 for the Kale on this top lane, so, you know, still not hitting very hard, waiting to get to that level 11, and then subsequently the level 16. Big breakpoints for her. As we're going to see an ultimate in the mid lane by the Wukong.
Yes, sir. A Cyclone does land. Oh, great stun by Genova there. Oh, but the Diana follow-up underneath the tower. Pops her ultimate. And at least trades 1 for 1 there. So, Katsuragi, you did fall. But do not worry. Your death was not in vain. As Wukong also, good trade. 1 for 1. 5-2 now. And still a 2K gold lead in favor of Shadow Isles. How do we bounce back? What do we do? We're on the side currently of Scylla.
Scylla, you have this ticking time bomb that is Kale, right? So any little thing you can do to keep this game between, you know, under 5,000 gold. I think that's the mark, right? 5,000 or less, a Kale can still be relevant. I know there's always stories of, you were talking about earlier, hey, 12K gold, they came back. But, you know, if you can keep within 5, you have the ability to stall a game, I feel like. They have to be careful in this bot lane. I think this bot lane right now is standing on a knife's edge. I actually am interested to hear what Chaos thinks about this right now, because being the bot laner, how does this progress as we get going on? When does this Draven start to fall off, if he does?
Draven as a champion is goodbye, Kale.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Draven is a champion where it is just pure stat check and mechanics diff and hands diff. So I think it's going to come down to how well Draven is able to play as the game goes on. I don't think he necessarily falls off. I think it just becomes harder and harder to pilot given the amount of threats. Because he's staring down the barrel of a Nautilus ult Q, like Diana flash engage ult, right? So he can die. That being said, I think the barrier of execution is easier for Jinx to just be like, I'm just going to wait for someone to start the fight. I'm going to wait for them to do all the damage, and I'm just going to get 1 kill and 1 reset and then win the fight. So that's how we see it playing. I think Jinx has a bit of a better time. I guess one thing to also mention is, one thing I was thinking, and I'm not, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the Yasuo will be able to match with the Yorick fairly well. So in the side push, he can maybe like pressure, like, you know, eat through the minions, and like he's gonna have more sustain, stuff like that. So then if that is the case, having Kale in the fights instead of Yasuo in the fights could be another potential win con, because Kale ult onto the Jinx, Kale ult onto the Diana, that could be a fight turner as well.
That's a huge point, right? Can this Yasuo match the Orc? If yes, this is huge for the Kale. The Kale might be able to go to a different lane and farm up. Because then Kale into the Anivia isn't a bad idea. So we'll just have to see as it goes on. I don't know if the Yasuo Q1 hits the Voidlings from the Orc. I'm not sure on that. We'll have to see.
Good question.
I don't know. Can you pull up the gold graph by chance?
I can. Yeah, I can. Here you go.
I want to see how far ahead is this York. 1,800 gold, 1,900 gold.
2k lead, holy crap.
Holy Hannah, this is scary, right? This is scary. And you look in the mid lane. Mid lane's pretty even. Jungle is gonna be 300 gold difference because of the cash in. You're gonna see a 900 gold advantage in the bot lane. But the majority of this gold lead is sitting on this York, which it's bad news and good news for the side of Scylla. Bad news is the York has a 2k gold lead. The good news is anywhere else you fight, it's even, right? For the most part. So as long as you're not fighting with this York, it's this York is going to say, I'm going to flash in your face.
Yeah. And there is 3 members available, and the Ice Kale ulti to stop a lot of that burst damage coming in from Genova with the 3-man roam. But now they're leaving mid kind of open and available here. And I also want to point out, Kale doesn't have a completed first item yet, while a Trinity Force has been completed on York for a little bit. So Kale, once she's online, I think the damage output's going to be pretty stellar. Now hitting a level 11 already here. Just one more, and she's fully online. Level 16, you know what I mean, like getting up there.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep, and might see a fight here.
Yeah, we do definitely see a fight, and yeah, Barry, you gotta get out of there. That's a lot of damage, my friend. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes from afar, and that wasn't enough, unfortunately, like you had mentioned, that double kill, because the Renata ulti is just way too much, and Surf and Turf now is gonna be taken down, so 4 members in that team fight overall. 10-2 as they extend their gold lead by about 5k currently. And things are looking bleak as we enter the 16-minute mark here in game number 3. Oh man, this
another
is rough.
2 kills going over to the York as well. So extending that gold lead even more. The Yasuo got a decent ult off, but there's just no follow-up. Mega Death Rocket hits. But this lead is now getting to that 5k mark. In fact, it has crested the 5k mark, which is what I said they needed to keep it within. So this is when it gets really hard. Because anywhere this York goes, you lose. So you just need to find picks outside of this York, and we'll see who wins the 1v1.
No, maybe not. Directed Camera has other ideas, but it looks like Jinx does survive at least. But yeah, you don't stat check that Draven no more.
No.
That's a I was gonna say that's a huge pickup just from the side of Shadow Isles. On that whole play, they were able to get 4 kills top. They were able to 3 kills top. Then they were able to get top neutral in the Herald, and they were able to get bot neutral in the Drake, and they have grubs. Like, it is a ridiculous advantage that they've accumulated in this early game, and they utilized both strong side lanes very effectively to take basically everything off the map. Good pathing and good aggression by the Wukong. I mean, it's still definitely possible for Scylla to win this. The only issue is they're going to have to play the mid to late game macro very well, and they have to know what to trade and what to fight. Getting some of these shutdowns will help a lot. So they want to do, again, they want to do what they did in game 1, where they were looking for the Warwick shutdown and maybe convert that into something in order to try to get back into this game. It's tough. It's very tough from this position.
Yeah, I mean, you expected this with the Kale. Problem is, you're not winning on any other side of the map. I think when they picked this Jinx Nautilus, they're like, okay, hey, we're gonna lose top side, but we'll win the bot side of the map, and they're not winning, right? So if you're Hurricane, if you're this Diana, you went from having 3 winning lanes last game to 0 winning lanes. So that's a tough pill to swallow if you're a jungler. Having to change your pacing that drastically from game to game.
Open. Surf and Turf. Yeah, kind of getting just 1v1 here by Mercenary. Double knock up by the Cyclone there. And yeah, I don't know if Diana, personally, I just don't think as Wukong was like making the presence known, happening, making things happen in one side of the map or in one lane, like they weren't farming as much, or they weren't making things happen in any other lane to like have an advantage,
Yep. That's why if you knew you were going to pick the Kale, and maybe they didn't, but if you knew you were going to pick the Kale, that would have opened up playing a non... Uh-oh.
Yeah, that was a good setup, though, by Katsuragi. Does get the ulti pop off, and hold on one second, Dig My Own Grave is in a 2v1 scenario. We've seen this situation before, and the Maiden's kind of hitting on the back line, and with the Bork healing, not enough, though. Barry, I mean, they do have the CC, but, Super Mega Death Rocket, barely missing, but wasn't going to get the kill anyways. And yeah, that 2v1, still need one more, I think, to deal with that York overall.
Yeah, and back to my point, if you knew you were going to pick this Kale, like I wish they would have picked a different jungler, right? You didn't need the AP if you knew you were going Kale. Picking any semblance of the tank, like you said, the Sejuani, or I mean, I'm a Volibear player, which I think would have worked good here, but not everyone is. Something along that lines that's going to bring a little bit more beef to the party. Could have been a huge advantage for the side of Scylla.
Yeah, I think when you're picking comps like this, you have to be very okay with giving stuff up, which I feel like just a lot of teams are just not. They're not comfortable being like, let's give up 2 Drakes and 2 neutrals and a couple turrets because we win the late game. Because it's very uncomfortable to play the mid game from behind if you don't have a very good grasp of how to close out a game from a winning or even a losing position. So in general, this is why I also say I like comps with a lot of tools, but I guess maybe I should be more specific. You should have a lot of tools at every stage of the game in order to win the game. Because right now, I mean, it's still possible, right? I mean, you look at Diana, Nautilus, Yasuo as like really good CC. It's just, are you going to be able to get through a Wukong? Are you going to be able to get through like a Nivea R, Renata ult, and bail out like Yorick splitting this whole time? So this is why it's like 5v5s are going to be very difficult. So you want to try to go for the Yorick to get the kill and then just play the other side of the fights.
Yeah, I know I've already asked for one. Can you bring up the gold one more time? Because what is this jungle gold difference balloon?
The biggest smile goes across my face. The gold is up. Here you go.
Dude,
Oh, okay. Almost, it's like an 1800 difference now and 2-level lead for this Wukong. That's a lot. That's not something that you can just ignore. So not get already wanted out of this Diana, and maybe yes, late game you can see a change, but we're 20 minutes away from that type of game.
And so I burned the
Renata
flash over that wall. Yeah, 100%.
I missed
both
it.
saw the same thing. The directed camera was looking somewhere else, but like I saw Renata flash over the drag pit wall. I thought that was a little bit strange because Yorick was bot side for the hover. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that play maybe you commit to a little bit more. Just someone picked out like a couple extra summoners and see what you can get off that. But yeah, good thing you pulled up the gold lead because top lane is there's a 4K difference in that top side.
I didn't see that. And we answered the question we asked earlier as they start dragon. The Yasuo cannot answer a Yorick. At least in this instance when the Yorick is this far ahead. We saw the 2v1 earlier, so the answer to your question earlier, no, the Yasuo cannot answer you.
Yeah, so at that point you don't have a win con unless you... Yeah, at this point you have to do what's called the Fnatic Death Bush, where you send 5 people in one bush and you just kill the person that walks in. Like, you have to play very creative, borderline, like, quote-unquote dumb League of Legends in order to come back from this game, because that's the only way you're going to win. Standard macro, standard vision control probably is not going to work. But that's how they're going to win from this game state.
Well, and kind of looking at across the board where we are right now, they don't have any urgency, but vision is huge in this, okay? They have vision control in the top lane. The Scylla, nothing in the bot lane, right? This Yasuo is on a true island. No vision, no health, no nothing. It's the Wukong ult.
Yeah, Wukong, I think, got a little bit overzealous there. And this Mega Death Rocket barely missing him on his way out. Looking a little bit bleak now as Dig My Own Grave is just absolutely annihilating Barry, unfortunately, here. And Hera is going to have to try to get out of that. Forces the flash. Great job from Genova, who does still have the passive, so it's not even worth focusing the Anivia right now. And I think that's another big dilemma is... this Anivia can just sit here and do all the damage in the world and not have to worry about a single thing. Like, she isn't the priority. Draven's the priority. And, if it's not Draven, then it's Yorick. Like, there's just too many answers, and they don't have anything to provide to any of them, unfortunately. And now they're just going to go ahead and get this Baron, and I don't know. Things are looking very, very, very secure here for the side of Shadow Isles.
Yep, I want you to watch this Draven back. Watch the items he's going to pick up here. 1 and a BF sword. All right, so he cashed in 250 stacks on that last kill. So able to finish off the collector, get the BF sword on top of that. I'm assuming gonna go into IE. And once you complete that IE, watch out. This Draven's gonna hurt.
That was that whole play. It looked honestly not bad for Scylla towards like the middle part of it. It was a good find by Mercenary to get like a two-man ult on the Cyclone. But and Bonaparte was almost able to get the kill, and getting a reset in that fight would have been huge. Getting a couple shutdowns would have given them a crazy good win con to try to stall out the game. The hostile takeaway was really good to stop the advance, and then as we saw the rest of the fight, Barry Miller does die. That's enough control for them to secure the Baron, and now this Baron siege should result in a pretty big power play. Yeah, this is tough.
I will say this, York, the impact isn't there, or they're just managing it better. You're not seeing any crazy kills. The turrets, he's not getting hits off on them. So I don't know what they're doing to manage it. I'd like to see him walk up and get a hit on the turret, not the champion there. I think that's a little bit of a mistake. He could have almost killed the whole turret. But now the Yasuo is here for backup.
Yeah, that York is doing the classic. Honestly, the thing I've realized by watching Dig My Own Game play over the last couple games is he's really a
mercenary. Oh my god, what a beautiful clone over the wall to hop over, and gets the flash from, I think, both Yasuo and Kale there. Damn, that was really close to a double kill setup by Mercenary.
Yep, now get this turret. You're going to have 2 tier 2s down. Only the top lane tier 2 will be left, as they're going to continue pushing. Which I like this. Try to crack open the base. They're going to get collapsed on, so let's see how greedy they get.
Yep, hopefully not too greedy here. Yasuo trying to get a look, but that Anivia is so good at stopping anything that they're trying to do here. Zoidberg getting caught out, though, unfortunately. And maybe not. Ulti dubs come through, and the W gets popped, but they're not going to get a kill, I think, in time. And a nice shutdown being picked up by Bonaparte. A nice depth charge going to head and land, and another shutdown being picked up here by Bonaparte. And yeah, that's 2. Both bot laners fall on the side of Shadow Isles. That's a little bit of gold that they, need right there. They just went from 2 to 4 kills, so doubling it is something, not going to lie. And that's 2 major shutdowns, 3 and 1 here, set up here for Bonaparte.
Yeah, the Draven hits the axe, and once you don't do that, you're in trouble, right? Your damage gets cut significantly.
Oof.
This York, though, is going to get the last remaining tier 2. Why are you taking aggro, York? Interesting. One level away for the Kale, by the way. 16 is on the horizon.
One thing I want to mention during that Jinx 1v1 is that both ADCs went played at steel caps. Yeah, I was gonna say Ninja Tabis. Played at steel caps, and that was pretty big for the Jinx to survive because obviously she has a lot more attack speed, and utilizing the barrier to win that 1v1 gets an extra shutdown. And typically, I like it when Jinx goes Berserker Grease and then goes LDR third because you're gonna be trying to hit into a Wukong. And even now the play is steel caps on the Anivia, because like you're the team's primary win con, so you really need to be able to do a lot of DPS. But we do have the Ruinous Hurricane, which is really good into, I would say, like the double or triple melee or short range. So this fight can be a game winner if this Jinx can pop off, deny them soul point or deny them soul. This fight could be huge.
Absolutely.
Yep, Dragon here. This is soul point, so you're going to see a lot of fighting going to be happening over and around this Dragon as it's just going to get started up.
Yes, it is, and they do have the zoning from this Anivia. The ulti's being focused, though, on the Dragon. Oh, great! Hook is going to go ahead and land. The Dredge line goes onto the back line, and Mercenary Mac takes down Hurricane, so there goes the jungle, though. They still have their smite, but trading jungle for jungle, or a jungle for ADC, and their jungler as the shutdown is picked up. Oh my god, what a great turnaround from the side of Scylla. Like you had mentioned, York, though, pushing on the backside. Kale, that was a wonderful teleport, I think, onto the back. That turned that fight completely around. They got the Dragon. They do lose the inhib, but that alleviated a lot of other pressure. The mid can be pushed out here from Jinx. They're able to answer and get some free gold being pushed in here by the supers in top lane. I think that was actually a really smart move from the side of Scylla.
Yeah, Kale just turned over to 16 before that teleport came through. Gets down there, 5v4. They're able to win the fight. They're able to get the Dragon and buy themselves 5 more minutes before another fight really needs to happen. Now, the trade does come through. Inhib down in the top lane, and now you're going to see this York go right to the bot lane and try to do it all over again.
Yeah, but I think at this point, Scylla's really happy with the game state. They didn't lose the game at this point. I think what Shadow Isles should have done is realize that they're already on 3 Drakes. The second Drake for Scylla isn't going to do anything. Just don't fight a numbers disadvantage fight. Let the Yorick push. Push mid instead, double inhib, and then use that pressure for Baron. But they chose to take a fight, wasn't able to TP the Yorick down. They lose a lot of shutdowns. Now the Jinx has the Mortal Reminder 4 items on the upcoming Baron. If something similar can happen, if Yasuo could just hold and they fight this kind of fight, this could be the way that Scylla wins this game. They're really strong. They're at that late game threshold where Kayle and Jinx are raid bosses.
Yep, and look at the gold lead, right? It's under that 5,000 mark that I talked about earlier to make it so this Kayle is kind of making up for that, right? Level 17, 3 items now completed as a Baron is going to get started, Rylion.
Yes, it is. And again, the Anivia ulti, okay, now getting pulled off of the Baron. Mercenary Max, the only member left on it, though. The rest of the members of C22 deciding to get off here. Shadow Isles going to the Shadow, the Fog of War themselves. Yorick and Yasuo still in the bot side. Yorick does have the TP, though, in hand, and he has demolished, and Katsuragi is facing a level 19 main.
Stop the backs.
Yeah,
Stop the
they are going to take it for free. So, yeah, that's a Baron for free. There is that inhib falling as well, and they are going to have to deal with this fully as a team. 3 members do base, and the rest of the side of C22, Shadow Isles, will take this Baron with ease. And now their base is completely open, so not a really good look right now. Fighting on the back heels currently as we enter 31 minutes. Can they close this out? Or if they don't close it out with this Baron, does Scylla still have an opportunity to come back to and win this?
You know, I still think they have a chance, but what I do like is the growth or the adjustment by Shadow Isle, right? They committed to the fight for the dragon, and it cost them in the 4v5. Well, they come to Baron, they start it, but once they realize that the team has turned away and started going towards Baron, they get off of it. And then
yes,
the
they
just
did. And oh my god, another good Renata ulti. They're going to utilize the power that is this Jinx and the great super mega death rocket, but Katsuragi now by themselves. Oh my god, but hold on 1 second. Draven is taken out of the fight. Blade of the Ruined King. Ooh, not going to be enough to sustain. And we still have the Kayle. We still have the Jinx. 2 of the hyper carries available for the side of Scylla, but that demon raid boss, oh no. And Surf and Turf has left, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure how or why. But holy cow, never mind. They got to be back. Flashes forward. Does get the kill off onto Yorick here. And we do see Bonaparte picking apart the Genova. Oh!
No.
And I think that might be a little bit too many minions with... Oh, the game kind of just stopped for me on my end.
Oh, there was a pause.
Oh, it was a slight
Wait.
pause. Okay. I guess.
Wait, did
they survive? Oh my god, I think they
no
did
idea what the hell just happened there.
they all got killed by the Kayle?
Oh,
Did they pause?
okay, so,
Did I miss something?
yes. So a couple of them DC'd, and then maybe I don't know if they left the game or what happened, but like basically the game paused, and then we came back. We see that there was a delay, but then Scylla was able to hold off the Nexus siege. So now there's still, I think, maybe one more fight on this upcoming Drake. Wow, that's crazy.
What is happening? I've never seen that. Sorry, that caught me off guard.
Yeah, that
No,
was.
I'm shocked as well. I mean, this should have been game over. This will be tragic if for some reason Shadow Isle cannot finish this off. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of conversation around the archive about this this game.
Wow.
Yeah. One thing I do want to bring a note to is that you mentioned it, Pancake, is that Shadows does a really good job of realizing that they need to play around their split push win con before taking a fight. And I think if anyone here is watching, like, you need to make sure that if your split pusher is winning side, you don't take a fight on the opposite side of the map. Wait for your split pusher to win that side for free. He'll take objectives or he'll take players with him. That's when you pull the trigger on your cross map. So good adaptation on the Baron sequence for that. But they're now able to get the soul, and they're gonna run down Scylla's base with soul. Let's see how this last fight plays out.
They still can't throw, right? Because you get teams right here. They can turn around and get a lot of gold in response. Level 20 finally hit by Surf and Turf.
Flash from the Mercenary, though. There goes the beginning Cyclone, and he gets taken out. Or no, he doesn't. Hold on one second. Barry, though, doing a great job trying to set up the Kale and trying to peel as
Kale's
much as
free
possible. Kale is just free hitting like you had just mentioned, but a triple kill is going to get picked up here from the Wukong here. Mercenary gets taken out. The two hyperscalers are hyperscaling right now, and oh my god, they are able to hold them off. Oh my god, that was actually insane. 4 for 1, 1 for 4, 4 for 4, all the way through, and Surf and Turf, can you hold off Genova? Hit the Nexus, Genova. That's what you should and could be doing. Nice ultimate. It's going to try. Oh my god, the wall goes on the wrong side. And the Kale is going to go ahead and take him out. That is crazy. Kale, you are the default. You are the divine angel, the saving grace that is for Scylla. And Surf and Turf is just going to hold it out a little bit longer here, my dudes. This is just not ending. I'm loving this right now. MVP is Surf and Turf. She is doing crazy.
She has death cap. This is scary.
This is crazy.
Chaos takeover. I don't have words.
Okay, so that fight was crazy. Jinx was able to get reset. That was a really good wall by Katsuragi to block out a lot of the damage. And then obviously we saw the tail end of the fight. Jinx resets, was able to clean up. Now, one very important thing to note is that now their Nexus turrets are up, which means you can't Nexus Siege anymore. You need to fight at the Baron. But at this point, we're at that critical threshold. Jinx is going to do a lot more than Draven. Kayle is going to do a lot more than Yorick, unless Yorick wants to split. But the team fight is favored for the side of Scylla. So this, oh my god, if they're able to hold off 2 Nexus Sieges under that amount of pressure, I feel like this 5v5 is going to be favored for Scylla. But I guess we'll have to see. This is such a crazy game 3.
This Yorick needs to go bot, right? And he's backing now. He needs to go bot before this Baron comes to try to split this team up, right? And then that's going to put the onus onto Scylla to force the fight at Baron or respond to the Yorick. And this Yorick lead is going to dwindle real quick.
Can I point out again the CS on both mid and top on the side of Scylla? 363 for Kayle, 296 for Yasuo, to the 171 on the Anivia. And Yorick's been doing his thing.
320 for the Jinx.
Yeah, that's crazy. And oh yeah, and 320 for Jinx. Great call out.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of just like farming up for this late game scaling. Yeah, this Yorick has got to basically just win the game at this point, and Shadow at least try to not fight. But I mean, does Kayle just beat Yorick inside now? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's something to keep an eye on. I don't think Yorick wants to test it because he's afraid. As this Kayle is full build. The Bork has come through. It's a full build Kayle. So all this lead that the Yorick had doesn't matter anymore.
Oh my god, I don't know about this start. I don't think they could, but they just don't have a lot of damage. This start's really risky. Yorick isn't in position. They could send 5 people toward this Baron, win this fight, and then answer Yorick's. But yeah, I don't think it should be doing this Baron.
They didn't have vision. They're going to back off. They're going to wait till they see somebody answer the Yorick. Yorick's going to push down to the inhibitor. You're seeing Kayle back now, and boom. This is the 4-1. I loved it. All of a sudden, they back off. Boom. Start it up again. Make them yo-yo back and forth. And now this Yorick might even have an opportunity to TP onto this fight.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Baron's getting quite low, and it does get secured, though, by Shadow Isles. And, yep, Barry is getting focused, though, by the Yorick. He is alone for a little bit longer. They could have turned around, but they chose not to here. Bonaparte pops the barrier. Barry, gets blocked off by the Anivia. Only one stepping up, though. Everyone is alive. The siege potential, all the waves are kind of halfway point in every single lane, so they could split, and they could go ahead and use the Baron power play, as you guys have called it many times, and I love it. But right now, if they just focus, protect Jinx, protect Kayle, turtle in for just a little bit longer, wait out this Baron, they could maybe go ahead and win this one here. And Elder's up in a minute 20.
I'm getting to the point where I might be favoring the Scylla side.
No takebacks.
Oh no, I'm saying at this point in the game. This is caster. I predicted Shadow Isle win. There's no doubt. I'm on record saying that. But as a caster, it's got to the 40-minute mark. Like, I'm scared.
Yeah,
I'm scared for Shadow Isle. This is what we wanted, you guys. At game 3, like, let's take a step back here, viewers and all. Take a step back. This is what we wanted. An absolute 40-minute banger of a match where we have no clue which way it's going.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I don't think this Baron that Shadow Isles has is really gonna amount to much. Oh my God, Draven had to flash away from the kill. I don't think it's gonna amount to much given the amount of wave clear that Scylla has.
Oh,
And
flash
this
forward
upcoming
from
Elder.
Barry, though. Not sure. That was a overzealous look
Wukong
here.
flank.
And there goes the
Oh, that's a
ultimate
reset.
as well. And oh my God,
Oh.
Mercenary gets blown up immediately. The Yorick is going to continue pushing top, but this Elder is up in 10 seconds with a 50-second death timer on the enemy jungle. Or in terms of enemy, I just mean C22 Shadow Isles. Let's go ahead here. They have Baron, and Kale's going to go ahead and answer top side, doing a great job of kiting out. Dig my own grave with the right life, flashes forward, and gets the GA popped. Meanwhile, bot side, let's see what they're able to do. The Maiden is there, draining Surf and Turf, and I'm going to the fight that's happening on Elder. Sorry about that, guys. I really want to focus, and they do end up getting the Elder Drake. Red side did secure it. That's going to stop the potential, split push that Yorick has been trying to accomplish here for the last 15-20 minutes, and this is going to extend at least another 2 to 3 minutes here with Scylla, all members holding on to this Elder buff.
Chaos, take this over. I need to go look at something real quick.
Okay. So yeah, that was a really, I would say, suspect engage by Wukong, because there just wasn't any follow-up. And then Jinx gets a free reset, and then the cataclysmic mistake about that whole play is that the jungler was the person that died. So Elder's completely free. They have no smite steal opportunity. So that is Elder. Now, if Scylla wanted, or Shadows wanted to do something to maybe potentially salvage the play, you stop the kill reset and allow the Yorick to split push and maybe get 1 or 2 inhibs. But they didn't do any of that, so now they don't have any inhibs, and you're facing down the barrel of a fully scaled Jinx Kale composition with Elder Drake. I don't know how they win from this position, to be honest. Like, their side waves are pushed out. You could just group up a spot. They don't really. I feel like they don't have a win club.
Oh my God, what a hook. Oh no, Genova popped the Zonias, and Hurricane is just going to go ahead. Oh, I was going to say follow up, but no. The rest of the side of Scylla do want to go ahead and siege down. They have got the Elder, and I think that is way stronger right now. I don't know why Kale's not grouped up with the rest of the team, though. I think that is a very big proponent, should be doing it. The rest of C22 have grouped up as a 5-man squad, so it is a 5v4 situation. Bot lane is pushing in, though, with Kale, so I guess they do have something going on down there. And I do like the split push if they're able to go ahead and make it work, which it seems like they are right now. They are just tiptoeing back and forth, waiting for the engage to happen. And I think it has to happen by Barry if it's going to happen at all here. And here comes
So
your...
I'm back. I just wanted to check real quick.
Oh my God.
Hold on 1 second. Dig my own grave. Is digging his own grave in the Elder. Oh my God. And the range. That was perfect. Oh my goodness gracious. They are going to go ahead and continue splitting. And it's now 2 members in both mid and in bot that they have to go ahead and split between. And here it goes. Tier 3s are coming in being knocked on. Katsuragi's going to go ahead and engage on Genova. Oh my goodness. Mercenary does get picked off, and that Jinx reset is so beautiful. You love to see it. And a super mega death rocket to the Dome, triple kill. And the hyper carries are going to hyper carry. Scylla are going to go ahead and take this one from behind. Oh, pause, as the 2 Nexus Towers are going to go ahead and fall, and they secure the 2-1 victory. What a victory. What a comeback there for Scylla over C22 Shadow Isles. Dear God.
Oh my God.
I mean,
That-
Scylla, first of all, credit needs to be given, right? You were able to stall out. You were able to make enough good plays to not have the game just get to, uncontrollable 10k gold lead. And you were able to come back in it. And I did go back and look at when they got double inhib turrets down. There was no misplay where somebody was off hitting something they shouldn't have been. It was truly they couldn't have gotten it. So I think that feels a little better as a viewer. And I know Shadow Owl doesn't care. They just wanted to win the game. But there wasn't a situation where, Yorick or somebody was hitting minions when he shouldn't have been. So this is just devastating chaos for Shadow Owl.
Dude, That was insane. They were losing early game pretty hard, as they should, just given the way the lanes played out. I would say just maybe a couple mistakes. There was one play where they probably shouldn't be fighting a Drake. There was one play where or just two plays where I think we're going, dude, 2 Nexus Siege defense. That's absurd. Like, you see 1 Nexus Siege maybe once a year. We saw 2 in one game. And then Kale and Jinx are just able to fully scale. Like, and you just get random kills. Yeah, because like at that point, the pressure is so on to make a play if you're Shadow Isle, and then like I can't fault anyone on Shadow Isle for not being able to close out the game from that state, because I know what that pressure feels like. So it was a really good try. Man, that was so fucking crazy.
That was.
Yeah, and that's why we talk about when you have leads, you have to know how to keep progressing, especially when you have a Yasuo Kale in your game, right? Eventually, there is a ticking time bomb. There's gonna be a problem, and messed around and found out what this Kale's made of, and you know what? All the credit in the world to Scylla, right? Unfortunately, there's got to be a loser in these kind of games. They both played amazing at different parts of it, but hats off to Scylla for finding a way to hold on and execute for a win.
Who's your MVP, you guys, of that series for the side of Scylla? If you had to pick one member of that entire series, you have to account for all games, 1, 2, and 3 here. Who are you crowning? It's going to be our 3 votes dictate, and I'm going to run a poll here for you guys and give you guys your channel points as well. Congratulations again to Scylla for that crazy victory.
Lizard.
What the
I think we're doing an interview.
Oh, I was like, what was that? That confused the hell out of me for a second.
Lizard is the MVP.
Oh my goodness gracious, that was what. Yeah, it looks like they are.
Interviews. Let's go. This is gonna be absolutely fire.
We got the whole crew. It looks like.
Yeah, are you able to hold off on? I know you had some questions. You able to hold off on that so we can try to get some interviews going?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because I believe we have the top side here from Scylla, right? Surf and Turf, Hara. First of all, thank you for coming on. What a game you guys just played. I'm going to start here. Surf and Turf, what is it like when you're facing a Yorick and you're down at one point almost 5,000 gold? What is that feeling like?
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, IC is a really oppressive laner. Like, the unfortunate reality is, like, I lose that first kill, and Yorick kind of gets the steamroll lane, right? He took Ignite over TP. He knows he's killing me. My only play was to dodge the Yorick and hope for the best.
Small margins.
Yeah, exactly. And I even for Hara, for you, I want to go back to earlier in this series. So game 1, you get you tip your caps to Mercenary. Played a phenomenal game. You come back with the Vi in game 2, and the pressure you were able to put on the map was suffocating. What gives you the confidence on that Vi? Is that a pick that you're very confident on, or is it something that's just extremely strong? How were you able to kind of wield that against the Jarvan in game 2 to kind of press the advantages you guys had throughout that game?
I mean, honestly, I play a lot of Vi. It's one of my favorite junglers. And I play a lot of Jarvan too. I know how to play into him. So it was more of, I know how it's going to end on his side, and I know I can sit there and just punish, just like he did to me game 1. Pantheon's not my strongest jungler. I'll say it right now. It's the first time I brought it out this entire split.
Oh,
but
really?
I'm super, super comfortable on Vi. They're just lucky I couldn't draft a Briar. Didn't work out.
And Ryline, I'm going to keep going because I have a couple questions I still want to go into on this draft. Let's jump into game 3 draft.
Sure.
So you obviously you made a conscious decision. Hey, we're going to leave up the Jinx, right? And you get the Jinx Nautilus. I think this gets really interesting. You get the comfort pick of the Yasuo. I'm assuming you were hoping to get the Mordekaiser Surf and Turf in that top lane. Was that the original plan before it got banned out?
Yeah, it was like, oh, I'll just pick Mord. We need AP. I can take a losing lane on Mordekaiser. And then they banned Ambessa, which was the second pick, right? She's my comfort pick. So
Well, so then in that, Hara, it turns to you to get this AP damage. When you're making that fourth pick, was Kale brought up at that point?
It was talked about, but it wasn't 100%.
Okay.
We were mainly looking at the Diana pick with the Yasuo because we've worked really well together with that in the past.
Okay. And then so now let's dive into game, right? Obviously the start went how it went. What are comms like in your team? How does your team react to that kind of stuff when you get down? You were down over 5K gold, I think right around that 20-minute mark. Are you guys a fairly positive team, or was there a little bit quieter VC at that time while you're waiting for the monster that is Kale to come alive?
I mean, do you
honestly,
yeah,
I got you. So honestly, that is something I personally have struggled on a lot. And shout out to my coach Z and Tiger. They've been phenomenal at helping me get out of that shell. Honestly, like I'm the main shot caller for Scylla, and I just wouldn't shut up. I keep going. Surfy and Caster, hands down, like if I stop talking, they will force me to start talking again. So we are super positive, and I don't care how far down we are, we will continue that, and we will go for the comeback.
Yeah, like the funniest shit ever to me is playing Kale, because the entire time in comms, I'm sitting there pinging my XP bar.
I'm almost 16, guys. I'm almost 16. I promise.
Trust me, guys. I'll become relevant here in a second. Just
800 more gold. I get 2 items.
every couple minutes, it was the clock is ticking down. The clock is ticking down.
Well, so
it was that one fight, and we're all just like, Kale is here. We're done.
Well, that gets me to the point. When was the turning point for you guys? Right? Was there a specific moment? Was it that stand you had in your own base, or did you start feeling that a little bit before that moment?
Oh no,
I think we started
in our base.
Yeah, the problem was right as that happened, Surfy actually DC'd. That's why we had to pause. That's why she wasn't there for the fight leading up to it, and we almost lost the game over it.
Yep.
Got the pause and got Surfy back, and she fucking carried that.
Yep. And then this will be my last question before I let my co-casters finally get a word in. You had a stand-in your bot lane. I think they played, or no, you didn't. The other team had a stand in their bot lane. Does that change how you look at things? Do you try to, like, as a jungler, Hara, are you like, hey, I can press this advantage, right? Maybe they don't have the best communications, or is that something you're like, okay, hey, they might not be as comfortable in the bot lane, I can leave my bot lane 2v2 and I know they're going to come through. How did you kind of adapt to that, or did you really make it a non-factor? Did you not even think about it?
Honestly, I trust my bot lane. Caster knows a fuck ton, and he's really, really good at it. And Mello is amazing with working with Caster on that. I know if I just let them go, they will easily take over the lane as long as there's not some outside force. So it was mainly just trying to give them that agency to do that while I was trying to put ahead bot and top, or mid and top, as best I could.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Chaos, Rylion. That's all I got. I don't know if you guys have any more. I kind of peppered them right away.
No, you're good. I did have a couple questions. So one thing I mentioned, I think, was how you guys lost game 1 is you guys, I felt like, were a little bit scattered on some of your macro calls of like when to contest objectives, how to contest objectives, and stuff like that. So it ended up like maybe one person goes a little bit too far, and then you get nicked by an Ari charm, nicked by a Viego E and W and stuff like that. But then in game 2, especially, and in game 3 a little bit more, is you guys started like grouping up objectives a little bit more, and I think that I saw was the difference maker between you guys winning these fights is that your team was able to get there first. Was that a conscious decision? Was that like, did you guys realize that? Did you guys communicate that? Like, how did that play out?
We did talk about it a little bit, because I think that was one of the biggest things we saw at the beginning, was that we weren't playing team fights correctly. We were letting Viego reset too much. We were just basically letting them carry the game and not fighting altogether, not getting our picks, which is what we originally talked about with the comp in general, was poke them out and then fight. We don't need to just full engage them, and we just didn't play it. So we talked about it before game 2, drafted a little differently, and played more for our style.
Gotcha. And that you did. I think you guys played game 2 very, very well. Very clean performance. The game. Sorry, did you have something else to say? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, then I had a question about game 3 around. I think Pancake already asked a bunch of questions around the staying mentally composed in a very difficult game, which props to you guys for that. You guys, to that point, not just like in general for the game state, like playing to scale, there was a bunch of times where you guys you were very intelligent about what fights you should be taking and what fights you shouldn't. I think there was like maybe like a Baron call that you guys called off. There was a Dragon call you guys called off, knowing that you could scale. Then there's also that one call where I think Kale had to TP to answer the Yorick, and then you guys ended up losing Baron for that. I guess walk me through some of the decision making on like what looks like a good fight to you and what doesn't. Because what I would have liked to see in specifically that Baron call is instead of Kale TP, you guys just rip the 5v4 and then maybe take the Baron, then kill TP after. But yeah, what were you guys thinking about that?
Honestly, at that point, we weren't exactly sure where, if we would win in the 4v5 there. And we didn't want a chance not sending Kale to deal with the Yorick because it's Yorick and he'll just end the game.
True.
I think the big thing with that was we thought about it and it took too long. They backed off of it. And honestly, if they didn't back off of it, we would have won. But them backing off made us want to like hang back a little bit, wait for the Baron to tear down their defenses, and then Yorick was pushing too fast, so we had to send somebody back for it. And the only one who can really face him at that point was Kale.
Right.
At that point, it was more of we've already had this issue. Like we can win the game without getting the Baron here. We don't need to throw away our lives just in case they do get it, and then Yorick just walks down bot lane and ends the game. It wasn't worth the risk. So we try and really just weigh the risk to the reward. One thing, again, the phenomenal coach tells us all the time, you need to think about what's happening while the fight is going on. You can't just go into the fight. You have to think, if we do this fight, will Yorick end the game? Will anything go on there? Like, you have to think about that. Otherwise, it's just over.
Yeah, and just to touch on to what Har is saying, like, Scylla has, for the longest time, been a very aggressive team. Like, we had to learn from scratch around the start of this tournament, actually, how to play passive. And this is where I have to glaze Hara and Caster a bit. Like, they are the reason that we were able to pick that up. Like, Hara was the biggest voice on, like, hey, we have to slow down, we have to calm down. If we didn't pick that up near the start of the split, you guys would not be talking to us right now.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
No, that is
speaking
great.
Speaking of that, first of all, I know we're all, thank you so much for giving us such an amazing series. I appreciate both of you coming by and talking to us after the game. Both of you, very good luck in round 2 of the playoffs as you guys stay unbeaten, are going to stay on the top side of the bracket and not have to worry about elimination quite yet. So thank you to both of you.
Wait,
I do.
Thank you.
I was like, hold on, don't go yet just yet.
Oh, don't go
Yeah.
yet. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chaos. Go ahead.
It makes it sound like the interview's over. I just have one more question, and then obviously Ryan, you can chime in. So, as Pancake said, congrats on this win. Your next game, looking forward, is going to be against TSG Prime, and that game is going to be really insane. They are the first seed. They are 5-0. I don't know if you guys played them during the regular split, but what do you guys? Okay. So what are you guys thinking about that? I'm very curious because I have a personal stake in it. But let me know what you guys think.
I mean, so the easy like the thing that everyone knows already, and like we have to say, right, is Mosey is just an incredible support.
Agreed.
We're going to have to put a lot of we have to look at bot lane. Like if Mosey's allowed to do whatever she wants, the game will fly out of our hands. That's the biggest thing that we've been talking about. Outside of that, honestly, I'm not too worried for us.
Oh, I like the confidence.
I say, me personally, first of all, just real quick, Moosey. But Moosey is actually the one who introduced Mello to us, and that's gonna be her downfall because Mello's gonna walk all over tomorrow. That's all I gotta say.
Melo played phenomenal in this series, by the way. That game 2 was chef's kiss. Working with you, Hara, roaming around that map was the pressure you two were able to put out phenomenal. So they need to give a lot of credit as well.
Damn. I'm looking. I mean, they asked all the questions that I was gonna ask, and I'm very happy about. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I'm curious to know about your TSG thoughts. I love the mental state. Again, I'm just like such a big advocate for just mental resets, and going from like a 20-9 loss on stream is not the same as going as a 20-9 loss off stream or in flex or in a non-competitive sense. Like, it is such a mind-taxing thing, and just to come back in game number 2, not care at all that game number 1 happened, go my favorite ADC of all time, Ashe, and then just completely turn things around and just kill it there, and then come back in game number 3 again at the brink of just looking at a loss overall with the Kale and the Jinx in the back end. And we saw this happen with the same duo back in, I believe it was the spring split. And I was talking about that actually before your games even started. Like, these two hyper carries are, you got to be careful, because if you get them to that 40-minute to level 20, all items, like, they will go ahead, ace you, take care of you, and that's exactly what you guys did. And as people mentioned in chat a million times, absolute cinema. What a banger start to the Scuttle playoffs in general, and just playoff series in general for the summer split. I couldn't have asked for a better series than these two, both Shadow Isle and your guys' team Scylla here, and I am looking forward to your guys' match against TSG and what you guys are going to have to do, to overcome that 5-0 team, because they're a whole different monster. I'm not going to lie. They're disgusting. So, definitely looking forward to that. And, now, I don't know, any other questions, concerns, shout-outs from anybody here on stage that you guys have before we go ahead and close the stream up for the evening?
I mean, I think people in chat are already saying it, and I have to say it myself, because I've been glazed a lot as Scylla's star player and all this shit, and we're completely overlooking Caster or Bonaparte. I mean, like, he is an incredible player. He has been the star player on this team long before I came back to play top lane for them. If we didn't have him in game 3, we lose. If we haven't had him in any of our games, we lose. Genuinely, I don't think we could ask for a better ADC player. If we had anyone else in this league, in Scuttle Division, we would lose these games, all of them. He is incredible.
I agree.
And he deserves all the merit, all the credit for all of these games that we've won.
Absolutely. I mean, I love it. I love a good ADC recognition, being an ADC, and I know Chaos does as well. I mean, we're just glass cannon, and it's just like, oh, just try to survive. It's like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, there's 50 assassins, everyone's an AP mage bot lane, like, I'm going to kill myself down here. It's horrible. So yeah, huge shout out again to Caster. I love that recognition by you there, Surf. And yeah, just overall great gameplay from Scylla. I can't wait again to see how you guys perform in the next round. And everybody else has to be on the lookout for you guys, because that mental reset, again, A1. But with that, we are going to go ahead and call it an evening. Thank you guys to everybody who tuned in for tonight's matchup. I love Travis Scott. Thank you for the follow. We also have a few gifted subs from Nemo. A couple gifted subs. We have Goermir with the follow. Cynical Poison again for the follow. Tay Wiz with the gifted sub. I had gifted a sub earlier. Shout out to me, I guess. Whatever. Oh, Surf and Turf. Thank you so much. You just went ahead and gave us a follow as well. So congratulations on your win, and a huge shout out to you. So with that, we're going to go ahead and call it an evening. Thank you again to Pancake and Chaos, my two boys here, for the TriCast. I could not have asked for a better TriCast. I think one of the best that we have ever done here in the history of TA so far. Many more to come, and I believe we have some more action for you guys tomorrow night. But turn on the follow button, click those notifications, do all those wonderful things, and you'll be notified. And we will catch you tomorrow. You guys have a great rest of the evening. Peace.
Good night.